98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time on a Tuesday. Bryant and Brett with you. You're in with Sports Time. We're sitting in our family leisure studios, and we'll be with you for the next 3 hours. Have a ton to get to. We're going to talk a lot of football today as we had 2 Monday night football games last night to wrap up the week of the NFL. But we've also got to talk a lot of college football, and then we also got to talk some baseball as the wild card race is coming down the home stretch as all these seasons, I guess I should say, regular seasons will end this weekend. But Brett Norsworthy with us as well. Brett, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Brian, and you're right about the baseball. It is really compacted in the in the American League, particularly in the AL West. But there's a lot of drama in the National League.
Absolutely.
It's anything but decided, but maybe not as closely watched as the AL West.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, this is going to be a big series starting tonight for the Cubs as they'll face the Braves. And I think anybody just kind of looking at that saying Cubs versus Braves, I think the Braves have the upper hand here. But for the Braves, I mean, what is that kind of competitive level right now when you know you have everything locked up? You're just kind of playing these games because you have to before the playoffs. So are they going to go out there and be playing at 100%? Or are they going to go out at about 60% and just kind of be out there because they have to be out there and maybe allow for the Cubs to sneak a couple wins against them? So I think very interesting on the NL side, probably just as interesting in the AL. I know the AL is very interesting because you have those 3 teams from the AL West all kind of competing for a spot and for that division. But you're absolutely right. That NL is just as good, I would say.
It's just as good, but you're seeing the process of elimination. I think the Giants are about done. The Padres, I know all of them still have some tragic numbers left, but they need a lot to go right. And the Cubs, what's going to be the Braves' motivation over these next few days? Because not only are the Braves, not motivated now, they've got everything set. They don't play next week.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, they're just out there because they have to be out there right now. So, I mean, I think that's a good question of how do they come out. And that could give the Cubs kind of an opening there to sneak a couple wins past them. I know last week the Astros were playing the Royals. And, I mean, how much can you get up to play the Kansas City Royals? And they ended up getting swept by them over the weekend. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of that going around in baseball right now. So, I would not be surprised at all if the Cubs took 2 games or maybe even a sweep of the series against the Braves just because the Braves don't have that motivation level.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Did you realize that Greinke's 1-15?
I have. Yes, I've been keeping up with that number all season, and it surprises me every time. See, what I do, Brett, I like to, because I love baseball, and so I like to go through and look at the pitchers every day and see who's starting to see kind of what games do I really want to watch tonight. And I always kind of write down who the starting pitchers are. And Zach Greinke, it always, I think he started like 0-9 or something like that, and then 1-12, 1-13. It surprises me every single time he's starting. Holy cow, Zach Greinke's 1-15, but it's just been a rough season for him.
It has been him, and so many of the analysts and so many of the sabermetricians will tell you that wins and losses don't anymore. That's good.
That's right.
I bet Zach Greinke thinks it matters because he's 1 up and 15 down.
Yeah.
I find people in baseball kind of using that to fit whatever they want to say. Oh, wins losses don't matter anymore. It's quality starts. It's kind of like Snell for the Padres.
Sure.
You need quality innings. But then if somebody's 17-4, like the Cubs starting pitcher tonight, he's 16-4, 16 whatever he is. Then they use it to kind of to support that. But I know this might go good. And 1 week from today, we're going. I think around one of these days we'll get 4 games in one day.
I mean, that's beautiful. I mean, one of my favorite days of the sports calendar is when you have that kind of quadruple header of the Major League Baseball playoffs to kind of kick things off. So that's going to be a lot of fun, but you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of questions still left. Only a couple of days, a handful of days left in the MLB season, but still a ton of questions out there of who's going to make the playoffs, what's going to happen with some of these teams, and it's going to be very, very interesting. But we did have two NFL games, Monday Night Football games last night. The first one starting at 6:15 between the Eagles and the Buccaneers. The second one at 7:15 that you could hear right here on Sports 56, the Bengals and the Rams. Which one did you pay more attention to, or were you kind of hitting the back button all night?
I stayed with mostly Eagles until that was kind of decided, and then watched a lot of the Bengals, but it was mostly Eagles Bucks early, and both games were kind of a hard watch.
Yeah. That's how last week on Monday Night Football was, though. So, I mean, it seems like they're ESPN with these doubleheaders. They're really getting what they're bargaining for.
Yeah, it has felt like that. A couple of the NFL games, the action's been great. Sure. I've enjoyed every bit of it and watched a lot. But some of the games have been a tough watch with, some real scoregami scores
yeah.
and kind of some odd combinations. But we've got so much analytics now in football. I mean, you got people out of the blue going for two when, you used to, it sure wouldn't indicate it. And the extra point, not quite the automatic that it used to be. But here's some numbers from the weekend that have rolled in. The network TV viewing numbers for Saturday night college football. We talked about that great slate of games, that menu of games all day. Well, Saturday night was just about as special as I can ever remember consuming college football with ABC, NBC, CBS, Big Fox, not Fox News, not Fox Sports Net, Big Fox, and Channel 13 in Memphis, all having college football. Of course, ESPN did. ESPN2 did with the or ESPNU with the Tigers. ESPN2 as well. FS1 as well. The Saturday night numbers are in. 20 million people viewed college football Saturday night, and a rare, very rare total consumption. Now, that's a lot of different games, a lot of different loyalties. I fully recognize that. A lot of different regions of the country as compared to Sunday night football on NBC, but a rare Saturday night beat NFL on Sunday night.
Really?
Stunning.
That's incredible. That really is a crazy stat. But I mean, we talked about it last week, and you just mentioned it. I mean, every single network channel that people tune into for your news and for network television had a college football game on it Saturday night, and it's what we had. Really what we'd been waiting for ever since we got that announcement that NBC and CBS and Fox were all going with the Big Ten, and we were getting all of these television deals. So we knew it was coming, but to kind of see it play out on Saturday and just going back and forth, 13, 5, all of these different channels, and seeing a high-quality college football game was really fun to watch. So I am surprised that number is bigger than the NFL, but I guess it shouldn't surprise me that much just because this is what these networks knew could happen with college football. They knew they're not going to put their money, these primetime hours of television, into college football if they don't think they can get a return on investment. And you're definitely seeing just from that stat alone that they're going to get everything and more that they thought they were going to get out of it.
And Saturday night, the centerpiece game, it was Notre Dame and Ohio State. Its number was bigger than any NBA final number, any World Series, and just really crushes kind of the lead up in baseball, kind of the ALCS and NLCS and the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. It blew it away.
Of course.
But bigger than their main event. Saturday night in September, bigger than the main NBA and Major League Baseball event, and it was 4 times the viewership. Saturday for Notre Dame and Ohio State, 4 times the viewership of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, not super surprising when it comes to the Stanley Cup because it's very kind of regional and everything, and college very niche, yeah. And while college football is kind of regional at times, it's very national. I mean, it's a very national sport, so that doesn't surprise me as much. But when you bring in Major League Baseball, you bring in the NBA, you bring in the NFL, kind of the top 3 professional leagues in America, that's very surprising.
It is. It is to some. It's not to me because I know where college football stands in the pecking order in the United States. It's NFL by 10 miles, number one. No doubt about it. There's no argument at all. Everybody understands it. It's almost a stratosphere of its own. But then number 2 is college football, and the separation for college football to whatever you want to real or perceive and hash out this number 3, I think it's baseball. I think the numbers show it. But whatever, if you want to say it's NBA, the separation between college football and whatever is third is now really starting to get some distance. I mean, it's just no doubt that's the 2 biggest sports. And there's also no doubt about this. We talk about something being niche, and we know, maybe except for the majors in golf, week in, week out, PGA Tour, very niche. We know that tennis long ago became very niche, and I think everything except for NFL and college football, it's all a niche sport.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. And so like you say, it's not a super surprise that NHL, NBA, and MLB it surpasses. But when you throw in that NFL and you say it was ahead of the nightcap of the NFL is incredible. I mean that's something you just don't. It's unheard of.
And all the TV sports and general rating sites we're all blown away by it. Just that it's happened. It's happened some. But for it to be like that and a pretty good matchup Sunday night, I mean Steelers and Raiders is no ham and egg, XFL game.
No, not at all. I mean that's a good matchup, and I thought it was a game that came down to the wire and was a fun game to watch. But
audience.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you throw around some of these, the top 25 versus top 25, top 10 versus top 10 matchups that you saw on Saturday night, I mean, we talked about how fun and how big this weekend of college football was going to be. And so, seeing all of these stats and seeing that it really did live up to the hype, watching these games and seeing how competitive they were. I mean, for Ohio State to have to drive down the field and in the last seconds, score a touchdown to take the lead, I mean, that just shows you, we talk about kind of the changes to college football, but it's in a great spot right now.
And the overall health of college football with all the summertime naysayers. But one thing that is really bugging me, and he bugs me, but Stuart Mandel today kind of with the tweet of, all you doomsayers, all you people that said college football is going to be ruined. Hey, Stuart, you were the one July and August of 2020 that if you could have clicked your heels together, you would have killed college football over the virus.
Oh, yeah.
So don't be taking too many victory laps being the college football guy.
Yeah, that was wasn't that long ago.
I think we forgot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, it really wasn't that long ago. It feels like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. And when you look back at it, but I think that's a lot of these people that were, on that side during the pandemic and coming back from the pandemic, and now they've kind of completely switched their tone. And like you said, they want us all to forget about what they said 2 years ago.
I said at the time, what was stunning about it, coming from a lot of the .comers, a lot of the old blue check markers, the old, Brigade, 40, Mandel, all that crowd, the guys at ESPN now. I mean, if they could have, they would have killed college football, July and August. And I was wondering then, first of all, there was a mountain of evidence against what they were purporting. There was a mountain of evidence from the best doctors in the world that we can do this. Got to be some safeguards. Got to be careful, but we can do this. And they wanted to take it out. And I'm thinking, why do you want to do this? This is what has made your life and your career. Why do you want to do this? and they think we forget, and they move right on. Of course, they all get promoted, kind of in a circle. They all get rehired at the same places, at the various places, and life goes on just fine for them. But they were trying to kill it with the Big Ten commissioner late July, early August of 2020.
Oh, absolutely.
But they cared so much.
That's right.
That's what I love so much. Is that mountain of evidence against them. They had to tell us they cared more than us.
That's right.
And really that we were monsters.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. But, glad we are getting far away from that time, because that was a awful time, and I'm glad we're getting far from it. But you're right. I mean, it's remarkable to see these numbers and to see these matchups on these big time networks. It's definitely a ton of fun. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Dave Voloshin, the voice of the Tigers, will join us to talk about the Tigers, their win on Saturday, their loss on Saturday in St. Louis against Missouri, and their big game this weekend at home against Boise State. At 3:45, we'll talk about the NFL. At 4 o'clock, we'll talk to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville about college football, what went on over the weekend. I'm excited to hear his thoughts on Florida State and their close win over the weekend. I know he's down in that area, down in Jacksonville. At 4:30, Lamar McCubbin, the president of Sissy's Log Cabin, he's going to join us to talk about everything going on at Sissy's Log Cabin. We've been talking about them for the last couple of weeks. They're with us every single Monday with our look back at the SEC. So we're going to talk to him about Sissy's Log Cabin at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us like he does every single Tuesday to talk about the NFL, and a lot to get to with him after another exciting week in the National Football League. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. We'll probably circle back to our baseball conversation, talk about some of these matchups this week as we're really getting down to the wire for some of these teams to pick up a spot in the wild card. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're sitting in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale, it's back and bigger than ever. 50 different models to choose from, 5 different manufacturers, up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. Free upgrades on all in-stock spas, and the 24-month same as cash, it's still available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're Sportstime. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. A lot of fun guests today and a lot of fun conversation. Be a part of it. We are in our Family Leisure Studios in this hour, every day brought to you by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is Monday Night Football last night. 2 games. Started off the night with Eagles and the Bucs. The Eagles get a 25-11 win over the Buccaneers and really made it look easy. The Buccaneers that I thought could maybe do something last night against the Eagles, just because I have not been super impressed with what the Eagles have done through the first couple of weeks of the season, but they had no answers at all, didn't even find the end zone until the fourth quarter, and I think that is more about the Eagles' defense. I mean, this is one of the best defenses in all of football, and when you look at the Tampa Bay offensive drives, they only recorded 173 total yards of offense, and it went like this. It went punt, field goal, interception, fumble. That was the first half drives. Then punt, safety, touchdown in the second half. So really a defensive game from the Buccaneers. They get the win. Then in the second game, Bengals versus Rams, it was another kind of defensive game. Both offenses really struggled to get anything going. Joe Burrow, who we didn't know if he was going to play going into yesterday, he did play 26 for 49, 259 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception as he's still dealing with that calf injury. He was pressured all night. I think the Rams kind of knew what they needed to do to get after Joe Burrow and make his night difficult, and that's exactly what they did. On the other side, though, Matt Stafford, 18 for 33, 269 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times by the Bengals defense, who really looked good, and they were 1 for 11 on third downs, and both teams combined for 7 field goals and 11 punts. So a lot of defense last night, really in both games.
Kick it
away. But I will say this about the Eagles. I still really haven't been impressed with their team as a whole.
I haven't either.
And that could be the scary thing about it. But that could be the scary thing about the Eagles, because they really haven't put together a full game.
Yeah, it's second gear.
Yeah,
it's second gear right now, and there's a lot there. And how much fun, Bryant, is it to watch Aaron Donald?
Oh man, it's one of the great joys in life.
And as the game goes on, and after they've tried to block him solo, after they've tried to double team him, as the game goes on, how he's almost like that great old school running back that was better on that 28th carry than he was on his 7th carry.
Yeah.
The more he gets lathered up, the more he plays, the better he gets. My top story, the NFL, 3 NFL undefeated teams. 1972 Dolphins, they can get the Dom on the ice. It's not going to get touched. They're 17-0 in 1972. It won't be challenged this year, and I don't think it'll ever really be seriously challenged. If the Patriots couldn't do it, too bad, Rodney Harrison. I know how bad it makes you mad that you lost to Eli Manning. Too bad, Rodney Harrison. Eat it. Eli Manning beat you. But if they couldn't do it that year, then nobody's going to do it. Yeah. And when the league went to 17 regular season games, that meant to do it, you had to go 20-0. It's not happening. Philly, San Francisco, Miami, all 3-0. I'm not as enamored by Tua as most are. I know he's good. I know he's off to a great start, but I think the Niners are the best team in football.
Not top story of the day.
It's hard to argue against what San Francisco has put together in the first couple of weeks of the season. But my not top story of the day, Tigers basketball team kicked off practice, I should say, earlier this morning. The first practice already behind them as they get ready for the upcoming basketball season. While we're only 6 weeks away from the first exhibition, Memphis still doesn't have their complete roster together. Still up in the air what happens with DeAndre Williams and Mikey Williams. Are they both here, or do we get one, either or neither? I mean, what happens?
Incredible the tone of your not top story. We did not practice this today, did we?
We did not.
Please continue. I interrupt you.
So,
please.
I mean, what happens with those two guys? I mean, I think those are guys we've been talking about really all off-season of what happens. And I will say this, Jason Munz wrote a story earlier today kind of about the beginning of the season. It's really good. I don't want to give it all away, because I think everyone should go over there and read what Jason Munz wrote. But I will take this excerpt out of what he wrote today. This is what Jason Munz said in his story about...
Subscribe to the CA.
Yes, absolutely.
They're doing great work.
We're big fans of the CA around here. But this is what Jason Munz wrote earlier today, talking about things to kind of keep in mind going into these practices. Chances are both situations, talking about DeAndre and Mikey, will be resolved before the Tigers' first exhibition game on October 29th against Lane College. Possibly even much sooner than that. So it sounds like Jason thinks we could be very close on getting answers for both of those. But there's a ton of new players on this roster. It'll look completely different than last year's team. What will the starting lineup look like? Who will be those key players this year after you lost one of your best point guards you've had in a long time in Kendrick Davis from last year? And how does the playing time get divided? I think we've talked a lot when it comes to college basketball and college football nowadays with the transfer portal, is you're going out there and you're promising playing time to every single player that's in the portal. Come over here, you're going to be a big part of our team. Well, when the season rolls around, you can only divide that pie up so much until it runs out and somebody's left on the bench. There's only one ball. So I'm curious to see what happens there. And these are all questions we have going into the season, but these are questions that I don't think will be answered until a month or two into the season. So it's fun to start thinking about what this Tigers team can be with that first practice happening today. But we're still a while away, in my opinion, from getting the answers that we've been asking all summer.
Brian, again, we did not rehearse this.
We did not.
You had no clue where I was going with.
I had no idea.
Here's my not top story. All these college basketball eligibility stories that have been percolating out there that we haven't been that concerned with because of the calendar as much as anything else is getting ready to hit. And I hope it's good news, but I'm scared it's not going to be. Basically, I fear if you haven't already been deemed eligible, you're not going to be granted eligibility. Because I think this year, and there's no smaller group of pinheads that have ever existed than that bunch at the NCAA. And I think it's their last gasp of we can do this because we can. We're going to step on you. They're turning down applications that used to sail through. I was told over the weekend by a person in the SEC office, neither Ole Miss nor Alabama, but a person that's got a great handle on compliance, that there's a case, and I can't remember if he told me Virginia or Virginia Tech. I'm sorry. I don't remember which one, but close enough. And it's a case of a player that's wanting to get back near a truly ill, last days, dying parent. I don't know if it was mother or father, but dying parent. He's graduate. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And he doesn't have a prayer of getting eligibility.
Wow.
And that case used to sail through. That would get rubber stamped.
It was the quickest one. Yeah.
And should be if you have a heart.
Yes, it should be.
But that bunch doesn't because they got it stuck in their eye.
They do. Well, and we talked about it last time. I mean, they know their ship is sinking, and they just want to bring everybody down with them as it sinks to the bottom. So.
They just want to burn the village. They know they can't save it. They just want to burn the village.
So if we can't save it, why not just burn it all down? It really seems like
let's go full Roach mentality.
Exactly.
I think everybody knows the rest of that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But we'll see what happens. So like I said, hopefully we get some answers in the near future. But that will do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk Tigers with Dave Woloshin.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Wow! I feel good. Shopping at Drive Max. Drive Max! Drive Max! You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax! I got approved!
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague certified technicians inspections are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Hey, Sports 56 fans, come join us for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park, corner of Park and Cherry, this Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. Come enjoy the fun, lots of raffle prizes to win, 3 rounds of golf and karts at Wedgwood Golf Course, also plenty of Tiger football tickets to win too. Come hungry, enjoy eating Three Little Pigs barbecue. See you at Town Village this Friday, 11 to 1. Johnny Harden's Happy Hour, where sports talk never ends.
Let's welcome longtime voice of the Tigers and host of Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings at 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Dave Woloshin to talk Tigers football and basketball with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and joining us now, the voice of the Tigers. You can hear him on these airwaves every single morning with Wolo and Friends. Dave Woloshin joins us now. Dave, I know a lot of people, I shouldn't say disappointed, but, thought that the Tigers could get there against St. Louis. I thought it was a great fight, a great game from the Tigers. But what was that environment like in St. Louis, the quote-unquote neutral site game against Missouri? What was that like in St. Louis?
Well, it was not a neutral site, I can tell you that. I mean, it was can you imagine having an away game and having the other team's conference referees?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what happened. I don't know how Missouri got away. They paid us $1 million. I guess that's why. They paid Memphis $1 million. It was a good experience, honestly, other than the L, which you don't want to have. I don't think that it is a terrible loss. Let me preface, it's not a loss that knocked you out of a chance for a New Year's Day 6 bowl. That's the beauty of it, because you went toe-to-toe on the road with a now ranked team in Missouri. You play here, play there. You might have won the game.
Yeah.
And you were on the road. I really would love to have played this game in Memphis, because I do think you could have had a totally different outcome. But I'll give Missouri a lot of credit. They got a heck of a quarterback in Brady Cook, who had, I think he was 13 of his first 13.
Yeah.
And Luther Burden, he's got a guy that I think is going to end up being an NFL receiver. He's outstanding. And they've got, I'm not going to say he's a great college running back, but he's an outstanding college running back who has 4,000-plus career yards now. So they've got offensive weapons, and what ended up happening to me, the difference in the game, is they had more explosive plays. They had too many big plays that our defense, which had been really good up until that game, they gave up too many big plays. However, I'll say this, Missouri was 0 for 8 in third down conversion. So they just ended up getting chunk plays, particularly to Burden or to a kid named Marquise Johnson. He's had 2 catches, and I think he averages about 55 or 60 yards a catch in those 2.
Dave, I'm with you. I think everybody that watched that game probably would concur, just being fair-minded. Mizzou partisans would probably say the same thing. For me, it was the confirmation of my preseason 9-3 that I just didn't have the stones to go 10-2 on. Brian Moss did, and I respect him out there for doing that and sticking by it. I just didn't. I had that as a loss to Mizzou. On Friday, I did pick the Tigers with the upset win, and some of that was my heart, but I really thought it would happen. For the Tigers on offense, you mentioned the exploits of the Mizzou defense. I think they're pretty nasty on defense, and for the Tigers to get that against them, I don't think, other than Tulane, the Tigers will see an offense again this year that good.
Well, you saw Tulane and their quarterback, and they're missing.
Now I didn't see Pratt; he was hurt that day.
Well, that's right. So I would put them in a good spot, but Memphis has them at home. I think the SMU offense is an okay offense. Memphis has them at home. USF might be a bit of a surprise this year. Look how tough they played Alabama. They've got a very physical defense, but Memphis plays them
and beat Rice.
So it's set up still. Look, I had them 9-3, full disclosure too, and I still think that is very attainable. And we'll know. This is a real barometer game. Saturday at 3 o'clock, Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
It's
if
everything.
They get by them, then you're getting what I think is going to end up being a preview for the American Athletic Conference Championship between Memphis and Tulane. Now, could SMU change that? Yes, I think they could. They could be in the mix. But I do think Memphis is still set up for the New Year's Day 6. It's set up for everything. And even though they took the L, in their heads, I think they're more confident than they've ever been.
I'm with you. Nothing changed. It's still set up. And, Dave, you could say that loss to Mizzou was a much better loss than the loss at Temple the year the Tigers went to the Cotton Bowl. That was more devastating to lose to Temple.
Yeah, well, that was the Joey Magnifico.
Mm-hmm. He caught it.
Baloney.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But Mizzou's better than Temple.
Here's how I'll gauge it. Under Mike Norvell, with Henderson, with Brady White, I believe, Memphis went to Columbia, Missouri, and was never, I repeat, never in the game. Those two teams were not on the same level playing field. There was no doubt in my mind. Missouri had an unbelievable tight end, probably more dominating in that game than even Luther Burden was in this last one.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really good quarterback. This kid was really good in the game against Memphis. Their defense was so much more physical than Memphis that year, and I don't think it's because Missouri got that much better. I think it's because Memphis has gotten to a different level. So I take out of that game that Memphis has gone up the ladder a bit to compete at the level with a good SEC team. And I think Missouri will end up being a good SEC team. Are they Alabama or Georgia? No. But I think they're a good SEC team. Memphis was able to compete with them toe-to-toe at their place. Not exactly their place, but close enough. 45,000, all except maybe 2,000. It was a heck of an atmosphere. So I think if you compare the last time they went to Missouri to this time, you're going, wow, this program is definitely an improved program.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at that game, Missouri won 65-33. Brady White was, in fact, the starting quarterback, threw for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And Patrick Taylor ran for 124 yards, but you also had Tony Pollard and Darrell Henderson in that background, or in that backfield. So, yeah, a lot of weapons on that team.
Look at the numbers. I don't think Henderson played much in that game. I think he got
4
hurt.
carries, yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt early, and Memphis had a punt that was blocked on their first possession. I'm telling you, even though they scored 33 and Patrick Taylor had that kind of day, they were never in the game.
No.
And they were all, and I was a little worried. They get that 76-yard bomb to Johnson, only his second catch this year, and I'm going, uh-oh, trouble. And then you could tell Memphis could compete.
So you mentioned it, a big game this weekend against Boise State at home. I know a lot of my friends are excited just because of that kind of name brand of Boise State and what they were, 4 or 5 years ago. But for the Tigers, how do you expect them to respond at home after a loss like this?
Well, I expect them to compete. I mean, I expect them to come and run their offense and play a little bit better defense and not give up explosive plays. I'll tell you, and I'm sitting here doing my homework as we speak, they got a true sophomore running back named Ashton Genty, who is really a good player. He had 200 yards against San Diego State the other day. They got a receiver in Eric McAllister, who's by far their leading receiver. And, he's a really good player. He's a sophomore from Texas. They got an offensive line that's seven different starters, and their play-by-play guy tells me they're really good. They got a quarterback who can run the ball, who's running less because his arm has improved, 6'6", 221.
Wow.
This will be a good test.
Yeah. Should be a really good.
It will be a good test, Dave, and I guarantee you, as you peruse that Boise State roster, you're going to see a lot of Texans on there. And for a while there, they were tapping into Southern California. But this sets up beautifully around the country because Boise State still has that kind of nouveau, sexy image around the country. They're not that good. The peak Boise years, thank goodness, have come and gone. But they still have that cachet nationwide. It used to be what college baseball coaches would say, play Notre Dame in baseball. Nobody knows they're not any good.
Well, their announcer, who's a good guy and an honest guy, Bob Beeler is his name, he says they're not as good as they were in their absolute prime, but they're not a bad football team. And last year, this team went 10-2. This year, this team was picked to win the Mountain West. And so, the Tigers are only 2.5-point favorites in this game. That is basically home field advantage.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a good game, but it's a game Memphis should win. And I hate to say it, but I think Memphis must win. Yeah. Because they've still got all their goals in front of them, and you want to keep the momentum you had going off the start, and still trying like the Dickens everything you can do to keep your name in a positive light for when and if there's ever more movement in conferences.
Right. I'm talking to Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers. And in that game on Saturday against Missouri, Tanner Gillis, the third-string kicker, backup punter, was one of the big stories going into the game. And then during the game, after he was pretty impressive, knocking down 2 field goals, all 3 of his extra point attempts. What have you heard about the injuries to the 2 kickers in front of him? Will Tanner be the kicker this weekend, or is that still kind of up in the air?
I will know more on Thursday when we have our coaches' meetings. But I will confess to you, we knew nothing about it until our first segment of the pregame show.
Oh, wow.
Or my first segment, which means we're over an hour into our broadcast when they let us know that neither kicker would be available. And then we came to find out they didn't make the trip. So obviously they were very well aware that these guys weren't going to play, and they were being really closed-mouthed about it. Now, they'll have to be a little bit more open about it since it's there, and we'll be asking, because we didn't know better than to ask about it on Thursday. But we'll find out. But I'll tell you what I do feel like. I feel like Tanner Gillis can do the job. I'm not saying he's going to kick the ball like Stephen Gostowski or Jake Elliott and have range that's in the mid-50s. But kid kicked a 43-yarder, so if you can go mid-40s and you can get the ball near the goal line on kickoffs, you're third string without a scholarship like the other 2 guys have scholarships, I think you're okay.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I'll say.
Sure was.
It was
on the fly.
Yeah, it was a
and sometimes even the hometown radio crew doesn't need to know everything, Dave.
Well, that's
nice,
probably
though.
true. And I would say we would never have said anything about it, but
I know you wouldn't.
They certainly didn't want to get out.
Yeah, no, it sounds like very close-lipped on that. But, Dave, thanks so much for joining us. It should be a fun weekend, and we'll do this again next Tuesday.
Well, we will not.
Oh, I forgot.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, you're off next week, so enjoy your vacation, Dave.
We'll catch up in a while.
You got it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers. And, Brett, you had just told me Dave is not going to be with us next week.
Man.
And I am a forgetful soul.
In fact, Dave's going to miss the next 2 Tuesdays with us, so we won't catch up with Dave again until heck, the season will be about halfway done. That'll be Tulane week one. No, that'll be even after the Tulane game.
We'll be getting ready for basketball by that point. We're talking basketball with Dave.
Let's hope the Tigers are 5-1 the next time we talk to Dave.
Yeah, after this tough stretch, yes, that'll be a lot of fun. Hope he enjoys his time off next week.
He's got a good one planned.
Good. Dave usually does his vacation weeks pretty good, so I hope he has a good time.
His open date before the real push for him with the overlap. So
yeah, I mean that's
when he told me, I said, Dave, I don't blame you, baby. Have fun.
I'm not gonna text you, contact you at all. You enjoy your time off, so I definitely hope he has a good time.
I may text him if the Cubs lose a heartbreaker in the playoffs.
Man, that's so mean.
I kid.
Well, let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend in the NFL. That's next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis football is home Saturday, September 30th as they face off against traditional power Boise State at 3. We celebrate D'Angelo Williams and the entire 2003 Memphis Tigers. It's also Kids Day. We have balloon artists, inflatables, special poster making stations, and more for kids of all ages. Tickets start at just $20 to witness Dino One's team in action. Be there Saturday, September 30th at 3 o'clock. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
When you walk into Genesis Diamonds, it's jaw-dropping. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis has a gorgeous showroom with more fine jewelry than you've ever seen in one place. No commission salespeople and no stress whatsoever. Genesis Diamonds is a whole new, refreshing concept in jewelry shopping that people here are absolutely loving. And they specialize in diamonds, so they have every size and every shape diamond you can imagine, from a half-carat to 20-carat diamonds, rounds, ovals, cushion cuts, princess cuts, emerald cuts, pear shapes, you name it, they've got it. And you can choose from natural diamonds or lab-grown diamonds. The prices will shock you. Genesis is a disruptor. They came here to expose high jewelry markups at other stores and pass the savings on to you. Genesis is a game changer, and it's not just diamonds. Check out Genesis' amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes with all the hard-to-find models. Don't buy jewelry anywhere until you see what Genesis has brought to Memphis. They're on Poplar at Perkins Extended in Poplar Commons. Genesis Diamonds, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678,605, MSRP 21,610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41,090, EV6 P5610964, MSRP 49,687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
O'Reilly. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with a synthetic oil change. O'Reilly Auto Parts has 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $35.95. Plus, get a $5 O reward to use on a future purchase. Our professional parts people can also recommend all the supplies you need for your next oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're sitting in our Family Leisure studios, and we talked a little bit about the Monday Night Football games from last night. The Eagles victorious over the Buccaneers, 25-11. The Bengals, a 19-16 win at home against the Rams. But it was an interesting weekend in the NFL all across the country. The biggest one that's being talked about at length all across the country, not just in Miami, but all over the country, is the 70-point
70.
Incredible performance
That's the interstate.
by the Dolphins. I mean, that's unbelievable. 70 points in an NFL game. Are you kidding me?
It's just made to never happen.
Right.
I mean, not even, what was it, third or fourth ever to go 70 or north. It's just, and especially modern era where all the salary cap, all the draft, everything is the fairest starting line is you could, not only the starting line's fair, halfway point, the three-quarter pole's fair.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really in the NFL, is down the stretch they come is where you get separation.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I heard somebody talking about this game and said not only did Miami cover the 6.5-point spread, they would have covered a 49.5-point spread. I mean, it's incredible. And the over. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You'd hit a two-team parlay on side in total with the Dolphins.
Just with the Dolphins. So, I mean, incredible performance. And Jalen Waddle didn't even play in that game on Sunday. Their biggest or second biggest receiver. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, they can run around anybody.
I'll go back to my top story, though. And I'm not trying to be different just to be different. I can't stand that guy, and I swear I'm not doing it.
Right.
I promise I'm not. Give me the 49ers.
No.
If it's Super Bowl 58.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, this is obviously being talked about this weekend because it's 70 points.
Line of scrimmage.
But what the 49ers have put together through 3 weeks is really incredible. And I know people are going to say, well, they didn't cover last week against the Rams, and they only won 30-12.
Purdy's not sexy.
Yeah,
Purdy ain't Purdy.
No, but I mean that is a top to bottom offense and defense. That is a dominant team, really. And I talked yesterday. My big number yesterday was 9. A beat writer gave every single position group on the Bears Fs. If you're doing that with the 49ers, I think every position group would get an A through 3 weeks. I mean, it's been incredible to watch them. So I'm with you. I mean, if I'm going 49ers versus Dolphins, I'd probably have to side with the 49ers.
Oh, we're getting the college football grade book out after September play is completed. So we're going to play this weekend. We'll break out the old grade book at some point. Right. And that's always fun because we never go pluses or minuses.
Right.
Flat letter grade.
Right.
And that takes all the variables out. I was surprised in this with the performance that Lamar Jackson had, and the Ravens still lose.
Yeah.
Now he didn't do a lot from the pocket.
You're absolutely right. And I think we talk about the Indianapolis Colts, obviously a young team looking towards the future with Anthony Richardson. But Gardner Minshew, I know a lot of people were saying probably start him, let him be that bridge quarterback. I mean,
what was that at the end of regulation they did? They didn't even try the Hail Mary with him.
No.
Just spiked the ball, ran the clock, and that worked. They won.
Sure, it worked.
But Goofy Irsay had to be going crazy.
Absolutely. But, I mean, it was an impressive win for the Colts. But on the other side,
it really was.
Baltimore, I mean, it's the NFL, so nothing is ever guaranteed. look at Dallas and Arizona. But I think this is a game Baltimore entered with, and now they were down, I think, 7 starters on the offense, 9 guys, I think, both offense and defensively. So you're down a lot of stars, but I still think a lot of people in Baltimore probably thought you go in and win this game at home. You still have a lot of your weapons, Lamar Jackson, a lot of your receiver weapons, and Indianapolis just they pull the upset. So, but I do think the injuries are a big factor there in that game.
A lot more NFL talk at 5 o'clock with Bo Marchant from collegepro.com and the NFL Draft Bible and Sports Illustrated. We will talk with him and get more into this subject matter that I'm going to bring up now. Please hear me, everyone. I'm sorry that Aaron Rodgers is out for the year.
Yeah.
But I badly wanted to see him out there for the league, for him, for New York. But I also wanted to see him behind that offensive line.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they wouldn't be 0-3, and maybe they wouldn't be on their way to 5-12. But I kind of wanted to see him behind that line and him have to live with it, and then that New York media get on him because he's been playing in Mayberry of the NFL. He's been playing at the NFL version of the North Pole, and he didn't like some of the criticism there. I wanted to see that New York media bore in on him, and now we won't and don't know that he'll ever play again.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's – and with the Jets, I mean, you talk about that offensive line. I know a lot of people are kind of throwing this all on Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson has not been very good since being thrown in there.
Yeah, he's awful, but he doesn't play defense and he doesn't block for himself.
Exactly, and I think you have to look at this rushing game. I mean, you bring in Dalvin Cook. Breece Hall is healthy again, and against the New England Patriots.
They created no turnovers since that first game.
No, and you look at that run game, this past weekend against New England, 38 yards and a touchdown on 22 carries. The longest run they had was 7 yards. I mean, that has nothing to do with the quarterback play. I mean, that's just something that you cannot have, and it's hurting them. So I think, it would have been great to see Aaron Rodgers with this team and seeing what they could have done. But there's a lot more issues with this Jets team right now than just who the starting quarterback is. But like Brett said, we will talk a lot more NFL at 5 o'clock when Bo Marchant joins us, like he does every Tuesday afternoon. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some college football with Brent Beard.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating, now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30,445, Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31,385. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Your equipment search ends here. Now that's a bold statement. But at Purple Wave Auction, it's true. See for yourself at purplewave.com. Purple Wave is your online marketplace for ag and construction equipment, utility vehicles, trucks and trailers, and yes, even a classic car or two. Bidding is straightforward and simple. No reserves, no minimum bids. Ready to get started? Head to purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Brent Beard joining us now from First Coast News in Jacksonville to talk some college football. Brent, thanks so much for joining us, and I want to start off with one of the first games of the day in what was a great and unbelievable Saturday of college football. But Clemson and Florida State comes down to the wire. They need overtime. It looked there kind of second, third quarter that Clemson could run away with that game, but ultimately Florida State comes back. They win it in overtime. What did you make of that win for Mike Norvell and the Seminoles?
Tremendous win. It really capped off a unbelievable month for FSU. Look, we really thought they would have a good month if they just split that series with LSU and Clemson, but they've won both of them. They've set themselves up now for a potential run to the playoffs. Now, they've still got a big game at home with Miami. Mm-hmm. They also go to Gainesville. And they've got some other interesting games as of now. The ACC, the only conference with 6 undefeated teams through 4 weeks. The last time that happened was the SEC in 2012. But guys, we talked about this before. Think about this a minute. This is Mike Norvell at FSU. In his first 13 games, he was 3-10. Then his next 15 games, he was 9-6. In his last 10 games, he's 10-0.
Wow.
So does that tell you that sometimes patience actually pays off?
That's incredible.
Brent, we don't have any time for patience. We got to win right now.
I know it. Mm-hmm.
And I made that. That's a great nugget, Brent. And I made the point yesterday about Lane Kiffin and Sam Pittman both through 40 games. And there's not heavy grousing at Ole Miss, nothing to the level of at Arkansas. And that Sam Pittman, he didn't go after his own fans, but he took umbrage, he took exception with them. And whether he's on or off the Twitter, but Lane Kiffin through 40 games, he's 26-14. The 40 games prior to that, they were 17-23.
Right.
Sam Pittman is 21-19. The 40 games prior to that, they were 10-30. Now, neither one of those jobs is historically FSU, but could we have a little relaxing around the criticism of Sam Pittman and his team, and even some grousing at Ole Miss? And most of it was people perceived Saturday, and it was a chance to get the Tide in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I still think both those programs are, I know the fans aren't happy, but there are a whole bunch of fans, guys, from the numbers that Brett just gave out. A lot of fans love to have those numbers, wouldn't they? Look, if you're recruiting on a
those two
level,
fan bases would love to have them over 40 games, a lot of years, a lot of times.
Oh yeah, no question
decades.
about it. But if you're recruiting,
and I don't mean that as a shot. It's just it's truth.
It is. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think both those clubs have their recruiting's fairly solid. They're obviously adding a lot through the portal. They're certainly competitive. I mean, at this point, the seat could be warm for both of them at the end of the year if it continues. But I don't like when people say, "Well, who are you going to get?" Because there are a lot of people out there. But I mean, to me, both those coaches are good fits for their program. And the biggest detriment to both those schools is they're in the Western Division of the SEC.
Yeah, that's definitely true. What'd you make of this Alabama-Ole Miss game on Saturday? I mean, a lot of people thought this was the best opportunity for Ole Miss to kind of go into Tuscaloosa and get a win, especially for Lane Kiffin. But then Alabama comes out very competitive in the first half. Ole Miss goes to the locker room with a lead, but then it was all Alabama after that. Does this give you a little more confidence about this Alabama team after what we saw the 2 weeks prior?
I still think that Alabama is a tremendous work in progress right now. I still think, guys, particularly for Jalen Milroe, it's quarter to quarter, game by game. I mean, he played better as it went on, but they also were able to find a way to run the ball. And frankly, the thing that really was impressive that they improved on was their defense. Mm-hmm. Now, they made, look, on that final Ole Miss possession, on Ole Miss's final down, that they would really make I think it was Malachi Moore who blitzed, and that made a huge difference. Instead, what Alabama did against LSU and Tennessee last year was they just sat back in coverage and had people pick them apart. So they became more of the aggressor. I think they'll beat Mississippi State, but State still will pose some problems for them. It's on the road. It will be the first time for Jalen Milroe. But the defense was, to me, the impressive real winner in that game before it was over.
Yeah, at the line of scrimmage, it was that impressive. And I was visiting a Los Angeles Rams scout friend of mine, Ted Monago, pregame and at halftime. I didn't see Ted after the game. I think he got out of there early to try to get to a night game or somewhere, maybe even back home. But anyway, I was visiting with him, and he was talking about if you had the LSU front with the Bama secondary, it would be the best defense ever.
Yeah, well, it'd be one of them. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now the reality is the Alabama front needs a lot of work, and the LSU secondary needs a lot of work. But you're right. If you can combine both of them, But that's kind of the way that the defenses are in the conference right now, guys. Is you've got one, maybe perhaps two parts of that defense, D-line, linebackers, and secondary. No one has all three great. Some of them maybe have two great or 1.5. But, that's an astute observation there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ole Miss gets them in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
They get to see the Bama secondary and the LSU front.
Yeah, good point. Yes.
Going over to the ACC, Georgia Tech gets an upset win over Wake Forest at Wake Forest, 30-16. Brent Key in his first year at Georgia Tech. How much potential do you see in him at Georgia Tech, and kind of where he can take this program?
People are surprised about how solid that program looks right now. I think they're under new management, shall we say, and they've actually improved. They're going to give some teams some trouble now. Look, you really do wonder, and this is. Miami recruits in their area.
Yeah.
There's no reason why Georgia Tech can't do the same. But Brent's done a nice job solidifying them. They could pick somebody off before the end of the year, but they're certainly headed in the right direction. And the thing that we talked about earlier, and again, it's not going to remain this way, but for the ACC to have this many undefeated teams right now is certainly a feather in their cap, and particularly when you've got one with Duke and one with Syracuse. And guys, listen, would we have ever thought game day would be at Duke as we're heading into
not till February?
That's right.
Certainly in basketball, but this is a real treat for. And what Elko has done there, I think, has just been amazing, really.
I know Mike Elko, and look, I know they've got great marketing people. They don't need any suggestions from me. And I know I would probably assume that Mike Elko would want it to be a football day and a little bit of separation from that noted basketball program. But I think what would be really cool, set it up in Cameron Indoor just like you do for Duke basketball.
Mm-hmm. Oh, listen.
And let the cameras roll.
Would it shock you if they did that, Brett?
I think it would shock me if they did it inside. I think it would certainly be near Shesheskyville. But I really would, because there aren't many places that are basketball first. There aren't many, but there are a couple, notable ones. Kentucky, it still is. No matter what, it will be in 100 years. And Duke and UCLA, Indiana. There are some. Don't try to run from being basketball first.
No. Well, that's how they got their reputation.
Syracuse may be.
Frankly, and you build on that, and there's nothing wrong with a situation that the football team can't do that. And look, to some degree, as we start hoops practice, Alabama basketball is trying to do that from football. So
exactly, and I would say it here locally. If late in the year, and Memphis could be in a game day potential wheelhouse late in the year. When they play SMU, need SMU to do a little something more. But if they did, I would run Coach Hardaway out there as guest picker in a second if they let the school do the picking.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. And listen, I saw a list today of the top games this week, and South Alabama at Memphis is mentioned as one of the top games. But guys,
Boise State at Memphis.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The reality is, yes, the one I've got here is week 5. But anyway, the thing that really brought to mind with me with that is, and we had this discussion, Brett and I had a discussion maybe 2 years ago, was when we were thinking about expanding the playoffs at that point, and it was basically a pipe dream then. The thought is, would the day come when a school like Memphis and that coaching staff, when they're recruiting, can honestly say to their kids, look, you come and be a part of us, and when we expand this playoffs, you have a real shot at being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that day's coming for a lot of schools like Memphis. And to me, it's still the situation where that's what we want. I'm not saying Memphis is going to win the national championship, but my Lord, just to go out and be able to recruit to that and get some kids to come to your school because of the possibility, to me, is one of the greatest changes we'll ever have in college football.
Absolutely, 100%. And like you said, I think we're very, very close to getting to that, Dave. We're talking to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville, talking some college football. And we had a ton of top 25 versus top 25 kind of marquee games over the weekend. Maybe the biggest one of them all, Ohio State traveling to Notre Dame, and Ohio State sneaks out with one in the final couple of seconds, 17-14 win over Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman getting a lot of heat this week after only 10 defensive players for the last 2 plays for Ohio State. What did you make of this one? I thought it was a really fun game and really thrilling to watch it go all the way down to the wire like it did.
Am I the only person right now who can enjoy a game like that and it doesn't have to be 52-50?
I'm with you.
No, because I can.
Look, I don't get the criticism with that. You've got two really good defenses, who are going at it, and it just took them a while to get their sea legs in that game for both those teams. And they picked it up as the second half, frankly, went on. Yeah, I get the that was a real faux pas on the Notre Dame coaching staff. Yeah. But that still can't rule out, guys, that they were in that thing up until the end.
Right.
And look, I think they'll probably beat Duke, but they've got to be careful to not let Ohio State beat them twice.
Brent, we were at a game in 2005 where Alabama beat Tennessee 6-3. That was a great game, as compelling as you can believe.
Sounds thrilling.
And it was, Brian, I promise. And we were both at Legion Field in '93 when Deuce had Deuce Palmer had the 2-point conversion for the game to end in a tie, and I was at a 17-17 tie between Arkansas and SMU in 1982. That was really good stuff. Now I don't mind 55-50. I just know that most of the time teams in those kind of games won't win a championship.
Oh no, absolutely not. But you've got And I think where we are today is I understand the situation where you've got to everybody wants the spread them out and gain 600 yards passing, where that's all exciting. But that's very true. If you don't have a defense today and it's not so much the yardage.
Have fun at the Poulan Bowl.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Really what you've got to do today is you've got to win. Your defense has got to force some turnovers, and you've got to do well in the red zone. If you can do those two things, that's kind of where defense has progressed to at this point. So, no, I just thought to me, if we can get a few games like that every now and then, they're pretty refreshing, frankly.
A fascinating study today at AL.com by one of their writers, Michael Casagrande, and you retweeted it. That's where I saw it. And Brent, I'm as guilty of this as any human being walking the face of the earth. But when we kind of have what we believe, we don't want anything to rock our confirmation bias. Nothing. We don't want evidence to prove to disprove it. I mean, once we kind of settle in, we're there. All of us are guilty of it. The study he did was the 11 o'clock kickoffs in the SEC.
Yes.
I don't know who would win the tug of war between Ole Miss and Arkansas, that they've been in the most of those. But I mean, those two would almost fight among each other that the other one would be right and the other one would be wrong. Well, he did the study for the last 11 years. That's a good sample size. And the team that has played the most 11 o'clock games, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? And then
Florida second.
Florida, right in South Carolina, right next to them. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Then Mizzou, then Vandy, then Kentucky, Arkansas at 31, Tennessee at 28, Auburn at 26, A&M at 26, Ole Miss at 26, State 23, Bama 15. They've been really good in that stretch. Why would they have to play at 11? And LSU at 11, they've been really good in that stretch. And the league has both thumbs on the scales to let them play that Saturday night at Tiger Stadium stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, and it doesn't surprise me about Florida because honestly, Florida has been a mediocre team in a lot of ways, and I can see where that they were come from. The Georgia surprised me a little bit that they've got that many. A lot of people would say just about every game Georgia's playing this year is a noon game because of the competition they're playing. But yeah, that I'm a little surprised someone hasn't done this before now. But that is a fascinating deep dive by Casagrande. He did a good job on that one. Yes.
Now, wish me well trying to convince my Ole Miss and Arkansas fans of this.
Yes.
They don't want to believe it. We play at 11 all the time. The league hates us. Sankey hates us.
Yeah, they don't, but you got some evidence now to back it up. That's what matters.
Wish me well.
Yeah, good luck with that. Brent, one game that I kept an eye on, I was really impressed with their defense, was Texas A&M against Auburn. They held Auburn to only 200 yards of total offense. And when you say Texas A&M, it feels like everybody wants to talk about that offense. What can this offense be? Under Bobby Petrino now, what can they do with this offense? But that front seven for Texas A&M looks really, really stout. How good can this defense be for Texas A&M?
Well, I mean, they've done as well as anybody in recruiting defensive linemen like Walter Nolan over the last few years. So, I mean, at some point, that's got to
That's a sore subject around here, Walter Nolan, Brent.
Yeah, believe me. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You ask the folks in Alabama about that, too. They were trying to get that sweepstakes themselves. But, it's one thing to beat Auburn. They've got some better games, obviously, coming up. And that Arkansas game that they play in Jerry's World is a very emotional game for both of them. Usually comes down to the wire. Boy, Arkansas really needs to win that game. But A&M plays Arkansas in that game. Then they go back home and play Alabama. So, I mean, once you get in the league, it's tough. But, yeah, they really did not allow Auburn and Hugh Freeze to do anything with those quarterbacks. And, man alive, listen, how about Auburn playing Georgia after playing and then they've got LSU coming up, I think in 2 weeks to be able to deal with that. So that the optimism after 3-0 is going to be the realism of like 3-3 or eventually 3-4.
Yeah, no, it definitely gets tough for them. That's not a question. But Brent, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this weekend of football. We'll do it again next Tuesday.
Good. Can't wait, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it very much. Brent Beard with us. And one of his favorite subjects, one of my favorite subjects, Bryant's as well, and where I was yesterday with David Cobb. That's Jason's Deli. All the great locations, a variety of delicious choices for all your catering needs you can imagine for breakfast, lunch, dinner time. You can check out all the popular choices, and you have low delivery fees. Local deli, call the local deli for details. And when you have your event and you think you don't have it prepared properly, same day, last minute orders are welcome. That's where they excel. They'll basically tell you in a nice way, step aside, we got this handled, and they step in with A professional setup included with delivery by the delivery drivers, all with food handling permits, whether to dine in, to go, or delivery. It's wholesome food forever at Jason's Deli, a family thing with these great locations. Like the one I'm at so much over across from MUS on Ridgeway, Poplar and Highland over by the U of M, Olive Branch and Cordova. There's one close by. And in all those locations, you have the complimentary free ice cream. On a hot, late September day, that ice cream would taste good today. All the great salads like the Mesa Chicken Salad, the Chicken's Club Salad, the Big Chef Salad, my favorite, the Taco Salad. David got the beef eater yesterday. That is just one big sandwich. It looks great, and it is. And the New York Yankee Deli sandwich, really good. But that beef eater, half pound of hot roast beef, provolone, mayo, toasted New Orleans French bread. It is great with the au jus on it, and all the food, the meats, the breads, the spreads, the cheeses, all good and good for you. Trans fat free food, healthy first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, and plenty of organic food to choose from. And that great salad bar with over 30 items to choose from that you can prepare however you would like. Catering anytime, anywhere. Check out these locations: Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, or check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Brett, you just made me hungry. That beef eater is my absolute favorite. I get it
Is
every
it?
single
Go-to?
time when I'm at Jason's Deli.
We'll go tomorrow.
Hands down, my favorite for sure. But let's go ahead and get to a break because when we come back, the president of Sissy's Log Cabin, Lamar McCubbin, is going to join us to talk about everything going on at Sissy's Log Cabin. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6, P561964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Everyone agrees that 117 Prime is Memphis's premier downtown dining experience. But what if you could go one step further and have 117 Prime at home? As hard as it is to believe, 117 Prime, which features some of the best food in Memphis, is available for curbside or takeout. Imagine just swinging by Prime and picking up not just something good, but something great. 117 Prime makes the best steaks in Memphis, and you could eat it in your living room. The best food in Memphis. Enjoy the way you really want to. Pantsless.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Hi, this
this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6, P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit. Dealer.com.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah is about to blow my socks off.
That's right, Randy. Get 41 MPG Highway with the 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 do-it signing.
What about those cool new EVs?
I've got EV action with the 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 do-it signing. And the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 do-it signing. Plus, you'll get a free charger with every EV purchase, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We have been so excited to be telling you the great story of Sissy's Log Cabin over the last 2 months, from SEC Media Days to our golf tournament coverage with all our leaderboard updates and our look back at the SEC every Monday at 4:30. And the president of Sissy's Log Cabin, he joins us now, and they're excited about this market and their association in this market as the official jeweler of the Memphis Tigers, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies, the floor seats at Memphis Grizzlies game. Lamar, thank you so much for joining us, and first of all, thank you for entrusting us and being with us, but also for being already just what y'all have done in the community. And that kiss cam at Tiger football and basketball. Lamar, several years ago, I was at a Grizzlies game, and the kiss cam honed in on me, and I was there with just a platonic friend, and I'm waving at it. No, not me. So sometimes the kiss cam can bust you out, Lamar.
Well, Brett, you know, man, it's an exciting time, and we're excited to be partnering with the Memphis Tigers, as you mentioned. I mean, we can't tell you how excited we are, and I'll tell you, the Grizzlies fans as well. We've had a great time last season. We do a great amount of jewelry for the Memphis Grizzlies. We have their exclusive line that you can only see at our store.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to tell you what, man, it is really run out of here fast. I promise.
And Lamar, what you and what Bill and the Jones family, which you always have been committed to in any market, but also here in, you know, the very competitive nature that it's in. But it shows how much of part of the community to not only be with the pro team, with the Grizzlies that we adore, but also with the college team that goes back so far with the Memphis Tigers, the unique branding at all the various events, holiday, social media giveaways that you're going to have. We're going to have tickets to both football and basketball for the Tigers and for the Grizzlies. We just really appreciate, and we know what y'all are trying to do about with your new kind of re-grand opening and all the designers that y'all carry in the store. It's so much more than a jewelry store.
Well, it is. And, you know, being a family-owned business, we've got, 5 locations in Arkansas and 1 here in Memphis. And ever since we've come to Memphis, we really have driven and gotten into the community and things like this. And we're thankful for all the Tigers fans and all the Grizzlies fans that support us as well, because you know what, we love being a part of this community and doing things that we feel like need to be done and that we can help with. I mean, Bill and Sherry have been great advocates for wanting to help the communities in any way that they can. And once again, we appreciate everybody's support. And not only, here's the thing, we're putting a new store right out there on Poplar Avenue in Laurelwood. And I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be an amazing site, Brett. I can't tell you how beautiful that place is going to be, but it's going to be very nice.
I hope we can be a big part of that. We would love to be out on remote. Bryant and I would love to do it. And I hope I don't want to get Bryant in trouble, but I'm just going to say, Lamar, in the next year, 6 months to a year, he's going to be shopping for that perfect ring, if you know what I mean. I hope I'm not breaking business out there. Any families, Bryant?
Just got done, does it, Brian? Am I reading that right?
Hey, look, it might be coming soon, and it might not. You never know. If she's listening right now, I don't want to put too much out there, I guess.
Bryant's going to kill me. Lamar McCubbin with us, the president of
Brian,
Sissy's Log Cabin.
You know us, and we can do anything from custom work to brand names. I mean, we have some beautiful brands here for you, and I'll tell you what, we can pretty much make anything that her heart desires.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to come over there and check out what y'all have.
And Lamar, this time of year, I know it's a lot of fun for y'all to see couples come in and shop for that perfect ring, because I know this is the time of year that a lot of people are thinking about something like that around the holiday season, and it's really making dreams come true.
Oh, look here! You know what? We make a lot of people happy for Christmas and every day of the year, for that fact. I mean, anniversaries, birthdays. We've got a little bit for everybody, and I'm gonna tell you what, guys. You can't find a better place than Sissy's Log Cabin to come and get fine jewelry at, because we care about you more than we care about selling jewelry, because we want you for a lifetime, not just for a one-time visit. We want fans and families to be, excited when they come into here, because we've got a great staff, a great management team, and once again, they want to take care of everybody just like they're their family.
Well, when you mention that, Lamar, and you talk about the kind of everything y'all do for your customers, not just kind of selling them the jewelry, but the cleanings, the repairs, the after-hour emergencies for the jewelry. I mean, talk about what is that approach like? Because a lot of these places you go to, and they're just trying to make a sale. They're just trying to hit that quota if they're working in there and make these sales. And after that, they just kind of forget about that customer. What is that kind of motivation for y'all to go out there and want to have those relationships with customers that keep them coming back, and that y'all can take care of them, not just when it comes to a sale, but keeping those diamonds and that jewelry looking good?
Well, the main thing is, and this is something that the Joneses have consistently believed in, is that, the customer's always right.
Yeah.
And it's not about, a lot of places are just about, bringing money in, ringing the register. What we're about is taking care of customers and building lifetime relationships. And you know what? It doesn't really mean anybody can sell one thing one time.
Right.
But we want to sell you something that's going to be an heirloom, something that's going to last forever, something that you can bring back and say, man, you know what? I have people come into this day that they come into the store and they go, I remember when Sissy's was just in Pine Bluff, and we bought our engagement ring there, 50 years ago.
That's awesome.
And those kind of things just don't happen overnight. It takes a while to build relationships, and hopefully we've done a good job doing that over the last 10 years in Memphis. And like I said, when we open this new location, it's going to really make a huge difference. And guess what? We also want you to know that when you buy something from us, you've got that Sissy's promise, and that promise is to know that we're going to take care of you, not just today, but forever.
That's awesome.
That is a fact with everybody. It's been so pleasing. Coming soon, that location, it's close. How close are we, Lamar?
We should be open there in the middle of November. It may be a little bit sooner. And I'm going to tell you something. It is really going to be an amazing location. I mean, it stands out there in the street on Poplar at the Laurelwood Shopping Center. And I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. It's getting there. We're getting close.
If it's over 50 degrees, we'll do it from outside. But if it's under 50 degrees, I'm thin-blooded. I'm cold-blooded. I have to get inside, Lamar. It has been so fun visiting you. We're going to do it quite a bit. We mentioned the tickets.
Good.
Lamar, thank you all so much. Thank you for everything you've done for us and for the community.
Well, listen, thank you guys, and thanks for having us. And listen, I did want to tell you, Brett, for your listeners today, if you've got a special group of 6, I've got 6 great tickets to the Memphis Tigers game this weekend. So if there's anybody out there listening that you need to get a hold of, let them know and let me know, and I'll make sure they can come by here and pick those tickets up. How about that?
Heck yeah! That's right awesome. Now, Brian, we'll do it. Can we give it? How do you want to do it? Do you want to do all 6? Or you want to do 3 groups of 2?
You do it however you want to do it. You just let me know who the winners are or winner is, and I'll make sure that we put their names on them here, and they can pick them up here at the store in Laurelwood.
All right,
we'll do it. We'll do it right now. Absolutely. Lamar, thank you so much.
So much,
okay.
Lamar.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a great day, and thanks for having us.
You got it. How about that, people? The next caller at 901-360-8255, you win 6 tickets to the Boise game on Saturday. 901-360-8255, and Brian, you're going to be kind of running all over the place getting that. You go ahead and get. We got a caller up right now.
We got one. I'm going to get him right now.
Wow, 901-36. Wow, look at the callers. Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate it. Bryant, you handle that. I'll jabber while you handle that. 901-360-8255. I think we got a winner. 6 tickets. We'll pass your information along to Lamar, and we're going to do this a lot for Tigers football, Tigers basketball, primo games like Boise State, primo game. We're not just not just going to send you to the lesser ones. We're going to send you the good ones. And all year for home Grizzlies games, we're going to have this, and we so appreciate it. That is really, really kind of him. We had talked about. Every week we do what we're certain of in this time. We're really proud to be affiliated with Sissy's Log Cabin, Lamar McCubbin, and Bill Jones and that team, and they love being a part of Tiger football and Tiger basketball. I know you've heard it if you've listened to Dave and the Tiger broadcast, and you'll see it in the arena for them and long-standing, their great relationship with the Memphis Grizzlies as the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies. So we're definitely certain of that. I talked about my certainty from the NFL. Look, I'm not knocking Tua when I talk about the Dolphins. I'm just scared of his durability. The past has been proof of that. I'm a little scared of Tua's durability, and they're that good. I would give them as my favorite AFC team right now. But if I had to rank my teams, I would rank San Francisco 1, just narrowly ahead of Miami. Now, long time before they would potentially meet in the Super Bowl, but what San Francisco can do at the line of scrimmage, what they can do in the traditional run game, and I have noticed this, and as we get closer to Super Bowl 58, I want to get this from Bruce Marshall and from Alan Bell. I have felt in the last couple of Super Bowls, you have a real feeling out process early in the game that nobody wants to swing for the fences, and I think it makes for close games. It makes for the game to go under, and it's suitable for that line of scrimmage, run-type team if we get out there in February with Niners and Dolphins.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you look at the offensive and defensive line play, especially defensive line for the 49ers. It's pretty much as good as it can get. And when we talk about kind of being able to run around any team in the NFL, it's got to start with that line play. You've got to be able to protect Tua and have that kind of defensive line. And I think they've shown it so far through 3 weeks. But when you face a team like the 49ers, a team like the Eagles, some of these defenses we've been talking about these past couple of weeks, I just don't know how the Dolphins really match up with some of those defensive lines with their offensive line. So I'm with you. We talked about it earlier. If I had to pick, Dolphins or 49ers, I'd probably have to side with the 49ers at this point.
What are you certain from college football? We talked yesterday of our certainty about Michael Penix and Washington. I'm certain of the offense. I'm not that certain of the defense, but I am certain of the offense.
Yeah, no, I am certain that Michael Penix Jr. has the best deep ball in college football. I heard the stat. I wish I had it.
Maybe in a long time.
It really might be. And I wish I had the stat. I heard it. I was listening to a podcast on the way home last night, and I think I'll have to look it up at our next break, and maybe I'll bring it back up at 5:30, maybe 5:45 with what I learned today. I believe it's 1 out of every 4 throws from Michael Penix Jr. is a deep ball. So about 25 yards or further from Michael Penix. 1 in every 4. That's incredible. 25% of his throws are a deep ball. And so when you look at that throw, you look at the speed he has with his wide receivers, I'm absolutely sure of it. He's got the prettiest deep ball in college football. And it's crazy because we talked about this yesterday. We saw him at Indiana. Really good player at Indiana. But he's made a gigantic leap in terms of a lot of his throwing mechanics, that deep ball. He looks like a completely different quarterback at Washington. I think there are a lot of NFL scouts that are drooling over what Michael Penix could do in the NFL.
Again, we didn't rehearse this. You led right into what I'm certain of. This is NFL and college. We're going to be looking so forward next spring to so many things. We always say we love it all. But come NFL draft next year, I'm going there. Will be the best draft ever because there's so many quarterbacks this year in college football, and that's what makes the draft. Is that position.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we saw it this past year where you had, 4 quarterbacks that were pretty, compelling quarterback prospects, especially kind of those top 2. And it got a lot of people talking, got a lot of people excited about the draft. And so I think when you look at this crop of quarterbacks going into this draft, it's a lot of really good ones out there. I don't think you necessarily have to be that 1, 2, or 3 pick to draft a quarterback that could be your guy for the foreseeable future. So I'm right there with you. It's going to be a really, really good draft. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll get to Big Number of the Day.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Check. You might already know about the Acura MDX. V6 engine, seat 7. We have an announcement. We swapped that engine with a specially made 3-liter turbo V6, race-tuned the steering and suspension, and for the first time, added Type S performance to an SUV. So we're just gonna drop this right here. The Acura MDX and first ever MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Visit Acura of Memphis for summer of performance deals. AcuraofMemphis.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Your equipment search ends here. Now that's a bold statement. But at Purple Wave Auction, it's true. See for yourself at purplewave.com. Purple Wave is your online marketplace for ag and construction equipment, utility vehicles, trucks and trailers, and yes, even a classic car or two. Bidding is straightforward and simple. No reserves, no minimum bids. Ready to get started? Head to purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months. Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315. Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30,445. Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31385. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So my big number today is 23. MLB pitchers with an ERA of 1.2 or lower over a 23 start span in a single season since the start of the live ball era, so since 1920. Only 2 pitchers fit that description of 23 games and an ERA of 1.2 or lower. Bob Gibson in 1968 with the Cardinals had a .85 ERA over a 23 start span, and Blake Snell now joins him with a 1.20 ERA over his last 23 starts. You brought up Blake Snell earlier, and over this last couple of months, he's been absolutely remarkable.
Blake Snell, who is a free agent, Tom Ackerman tweeted earlier today, how about him in St. Louis next year?
Why not? I would love to have him.
Cardinals need to do something like that.
Got to get some
that Bob Gibson, over that full season, you mentioned that 23-game span, he did do the 0.85, but over the whole season, 1.12 ERA. Now, they lowered the mound after that year. That was also Denny McClain winning 31 that year, and the Tigers beating the Cardinals in the World Series that year with Mickey Lolich, the MVP of the series. But I contend there's so many from baseball that will never be broken, but nobody's ever going sub 1.12.
No. No, never going to happen. I mean, just the way the game's played now, it would be
What is Snell
impossible.
over the whole year? I know he is in this 23-game hit.
He's been pretty good.
And he went last night.
Sure did. Let's see. Blake Snell. Let me pull it up here. He is on the season. Of course, my computer's going to be slow now. 14-9 with a 2.25 ERA. I mean, that's Cy Young stuff. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but I mean, nobody's coming close to that. But that's pretty good in this day and age of baseball. That's pretty good.
It sure is. I've got a bunch of numbers here. I'm going to start with my big number. That's 27, as in 27 undefeated college football teams. Only one matchup this weekend of undefeated versus undefeated, and that's Kansas at Texas.
Wow. How about that?
Kansas is undefeated. Did you know that?
Yeah, we love Kansas. Kansas is good.
Okay.
Good team. Good offense Kansas has.
Also, only number five winless teams in college football: Virginia, UConn, Buffalo, Sam Houston, and Nevada.
How many matchups of unbeaten unwon do we have?
I don't know that there are any of those. I didn't look it up, though.
That's
I
way more exciting than the undefeated matchups. In my book,
and here's why. When I don't really know. I guess it would be one, Ludwig Aberg.
Oh yeah, Ludwig
who is
Aberg,
Sweden.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the European Ryder Cup team. He will be appearing in his first Ryder Cup. So one, that suffices. He will have played when he hits one shot in the Ryder Cup. He will have played in more Ryder Cups than he has majors. He's never played in a major, and he's on a Ryder Cup team.
Brett, he hadn't even played a full PGA Tour season. I mean, he played, 5 events maybe at the end of the season?
He was pretty good at the Wyndham.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a couple good tournaments.
Yeah, he's
Real
good. He's just
good
really
over
young,
there.
Though. Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
I'm going to get this in before we get into a whole lot of Ryder Cup talk this week, and I'm going to bring this back up tomorrow at 5. And in about 24 hours and 7 minutes tomorrow, we're going to have our friend John going on from Timber Trust Golf and a little more on the Ryder Cup. Before there's any hurt feelings, before anybody gets sensitive, especially on the United States side, when the crowd gets raucous, if maybe somebody yells in a backswing, if somebody, bob a boot, whatever they do in a backswing, remember that behavior 2 years ago, I said it then. Whatever happens in Italy is fair game. When you act like that, and then when they treat you back like that, tough toenails.
Oh, yeah.
And first of all, I don't think you should act like that at golf.
Right.
That is not the booing, hissing sport. That is not, even with that build out that they have in that those stadium features that they have, you still don't go and act like a butthead at golf. And the American crowds have been horrible at Ryder Cups. So whatever happens to the United States team, I don't want to hear anybody going, man, I can't believe we got treated like that.
Right. Well, I mean, I remember talking about this when we had the last Ryder Cup here in the States, and like you said, it was very much pointed in a negative light to the European team, and a lot of jeering and all of that to the Europeans. And it was kind of like you kind of opened that idea of, okay, well, now when we go over there, it's the Europeans' turn. They can boo
Fair
and
game.
jeer and do whatever they want to Team USA because you allowed it at this last Ryder Cup. And it's almost that kind of slippery slope that we're now
Play
on.
ball.
Yeah.
That's it. No, it's not even slippery slope, Brian. I'm sorry. We've gone tumbling down it. It's too far gone for anybody to get sensitive to it. If it's good enough for one, it's good enough for the other.
True.
Here's another one. And tomorrow, I promise with John, I'm not going to lose my mind about this, but here's another one. On giving putts at the Ryder Cup.
Right.
I wish everybody on the first tee would just agree, hey, everything goes in the bottom of the cup. We cool? Everybody fine by it? Because invariably, and more times than not, it's the United States player going, hey, why aren't you giving me the putt?
Right.
Well, sorry. I mean, you don't have to just because one's giving you that. I wish everybody on the first tee, bottom of the cup, I don't care if it's hanging on the edge, it goes in the cup.
Yeah, I mean,
and it takes all that variable out of it.
It still is a competition at the end of the day. I mean, you can't just be giving people things. We don't have any defeated teams, no win teams versus no win teams, but we do have a couple of. We have Utah State, who's 1-3 versus UConn, 0-4, and then Virginia, who's 0-4 versus Boston College, who's 1-3. So, kinda, maybe a little bit.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give. But that'll do it for our second hour. Let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk NFL with Bo Marchant.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
My friends at Miramichi are always innovative. They've got a new thing going I think you're going to like. They have a staggered rate pertaining to what time of day it is. You can get a better price if you go in the later afternoon than you will in the morning or in the afternoon. From noon to 3, there is a $10 savings. There's about a $13 savings from 3 until close. You can't beat all of the innovations or the beauty at Miramichi. And folks are flocking. No longer can you get a membership. There's a waiting list, but that's how popular Miramichi has become. And why wouldn't it? You've got different levels of competition. You have 5 different tee boxes you can choose from ultra hard to ultra fun. The thing that's a constant is the beauty. The back 9 is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream, and there's a waterfall you'll love. Everything about Miramichi is cool. Go check it out in Woodstock, 12 minutes north of downtown. It's Miramichi.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Howdy folks, Dominic Cunha, General Manager at Sunrise Buick GMC on Covington Pike. Our Western Trading Day sales event is here again. My ranch managers have been instructed to slash prices, so if you're looking for a great deal, don't look any further. New Buicks and GMCs, discounts up to $6,500 and a $12 million used car inventory. The Sunrise Ranch on the Pike is the place to go. Bad credit, bankruptcy, slow pay, that's okay. Here at Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing and used cars below $69.95. Visit us online at sunriseonthepike.com or in person at 1800 Covington Pike.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Bo Marchant with us now to talk all things NFL. Bo, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. I know there's far more important things and interesting things to talk about, but please, can you just give me some sort of positivity about the Cowboys after what happened on Sunday?
I don't know. You know, I was going to text you Sunday just to make sure. I thought you might be on suicide watch.
I was.
Not to take that lightly, but in the sports world, jokingly, obviously.
Yes.
But no. Oh, yeah. Listen, I guess the only thing. This is what I could say to you, Brian. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Dallas Cowboys, epic failures this past weekend. Heavy favorites.
We're not alone.
All of them were unable to kind of deliver on games that they were definitely supposed to win. So at least they say misery loves company. Well,
That's
the
right.
Cowboys have the Ravens in the Jaguars with them.
Well, that's good to know.
You're right about those teams, and I'm really surprised with Jacksonville. This big-time go-for-it year, certainly big step up for them, and now they're going to be gone the next 2 weeks playing over in the international series. When they get back home, a lot of people could be really checked out with them. But there were two old war horses this weekend that kind of had statement games. Bill Belichick against the Jets, a punching bag if there ever was one for him, and Mike Tomlin against the hated Raiders. Two old guard coaches. Their teams just gnawed out and gnashed away, and both won by 5.
Yeah, 299th win for Belichick, 15 straight against the Jets. That times a team record against the Bills, where they won 15 straight between 2003 and 2010. And I think the Jets and the Patriots, the next time they play is the final week of the season. So it's possible Belichick will extend the 16-game winning streak and have a new Patriots record. And then on the flip side, it's a big game. The Steelers beat the Las Vegas Raiders last year, but prior to that, the Steelers had a 2-5 record or 2-6 record against Oakland, and so they had their struggles. And those are some lousy teams the Steelers would lose to when they were a lot better. And kind of what happened to Dallas against Arizona, games that you're supposed to win, but somehow you find a way to lose, and that was often the case for the Steelers. But a good win by Pickett. The grounds game is still invisible. It's not there. But Pickett, his first game with 2 touchdowns, a lot to like. He did throw a giddy pick six to Marcus Peters, who dropped it, but that could have changed the game around. But nonetheless, slow progress. I'd say baby steps. It's not time to proclaim Matt Canada is an offensive guru, and it's not to say that the Steelers are out of the woods yet with that offense. But if you want to move forward, you got to start somewhere. And at least Sunday night, they got a big win, a much needed win for a team that wants to say they're a contender. But it could be hard for them. I put tough sledding to go, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know a lot of people this week, ever since Sunday, have been talking about what the Dolphins did to the Broncos. 70 points and only gave up 20 on the other side. But for the Broncos, I don't think anybody thought Sean Payton was going to come in and immediately get the Broncos to the Super Bowl. But it seems like if you kind of listen to what he's saying, he's very irritable. He's talking about how he might need to simplify the offensive playbook because they're just not picking it up. It just sounds like a lot that he thought would go right early on is going pretty badly over there in Denver. What happens next with this Denver team? A 0-3 start. Where do they go from here?
It's tricky. I watched the first half of that game, and it's kind of crazy because it was 14-0. Wilson drives the ball down the field. They get a ball into the end zone with Cortland Sutton. Yeah. And then they make it 21-7, and then the Broncos come back. They drive the ball right back down the field on the Fins, and then Cortland Sutton gets a pass interference call. So it would have been 21-14, very respectable. And then they settle for a field goal, kick off. Cortland Sutton fumbles on inside their own 30, and then the Dolphins score instantly. Now it's 28-10. They get the ball back one more time. Now it's 35-10, and then the wheels come off. But throughout the game, at least that first half, the offense did move the ball. They put up 20 points, which is not a lot, but they're praising Matt Canada that he's the greatest OC in Pittsburgh right now, and the Steelers scored 23. So I got to put the blame on the defense. When you scored 70 points, and I think everyone saw it, they just gave up. And as a professional, I think that's the low as low. You could compete. Like what happened to the Cowboys is they faced a team that believed they just wanted it more than them, but the Cowboys battled, the Cowboys, they drove it down. They went for it on fourth. They didn't make it. They went down again, got it inside the 10. They kicked the field goal, brought it back down. Dak throws the INT. So they had their opportunities too. If they could have walked out with points or a couple touchdowns, they win the game. They were unable to, but the Cardinals came out and wanted it. For the Broncos, that second half, they just said, you know what, can we just pack it up? We've already left. Elvis has left the building, although there's still 53 men on the field. That's the way I looked at it. That, if I'm Sean Payton, more than the offense or the defense, how do you correct a team that quit
to get those guys to rally and kind of buy into everything that's supposed to, as a professional, that you should do. And I'm sure they will, because they are professionals. And we've seen the unpredictability this past weekend. And I think, we got I think 4-0 team, 4-0-3 teams, this weekend. So the Broncos, the Bears, the Vikings, and who else am I missing? One more.
Panthers.
The Panthers. So, so who knows? And would you all four of those teams could win this weekend. It's just, that's the way of the NFL.
Bo Marchant with us talking NFL. And, Bo, you're right about Sean Payton. He can't cut everybody. I mean, he's got to go. He's got to go with minimum 22 of them.
Yeah, you can't cut everybody. And I think you listen. If you're a professional coach, college coach, high school coach, any sport, you get beat by that amount of points in whatever sport you're the head coach of, you're going to be upset. And when you talk about that level, National Football League. And he said, hey, he's been on the other side of victories like that where they put it to another team, but to be on the opposite end of it, it took a lot of them. Probably a lot of soul searching for him and everybody in that organization, top to bottom, questioning, what do we do and how do we get better? But I'm still a believer in Peyton and, and I guess, too. And Russell Wilson. It's just Miami. And I guess on the flip side, the person I feel worst for right now, and I'm joking when I say this, is Jalen Waddle, because he's going to want a new contract eventually, and then the franchise is going to say, hey, watch the tape of the Broncos game where we scored 70 and you were out with a concussion. So we'll be real good without you. So
we got 70 without you. That's what I always say to any time in baseball, and baseball is kind of the only sport that's ever done it, have the MVP from a last place team. Hey, man, we could have come in last without you.
Yeah, that's the fun of different sports, too. Good week, though. I think there's a lot of bad offenses. I tweeted it out earlier. There was 8 teams that they could have combined to score 70 points, and that's what Miami scored. And I think that just shows you that there was, 7 teams, 8 teams out there that bad that, the highest was 15 with the Patriots, 3 by Washington, 3 by the Bears or something. It's a lot of low points. And I was sitting there Sunday watching the games and I was just aggravated by how ugly. I think the defenses have caught up with the offenses. And I don't know what you do as the NFL wants to make this an entertainment. I don't know how much leniency you can give to the offenses to get them back on track.
Run the ball.
Run the ball. And Brett, I'm so glad you brought that up. The running game's non-existent. Quarterbacks aren't, teams don't have quarterbacks capable of playing the game. Everybody wants Patrick Mahomes. They want Josh Allen. They want Jalen Hurts. Listen, there's only a few of those guys. And if you don't have one, you got to make do with what you have and do something different. And I see an NFL right now where it's pass happy. Teams don't run the ball, and they don't have the quarterbacks to execute what they want to do. And it results in some ugly football games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, I'm curious, what have you thought through 3 weeks of Jordan Love? He leads the comeback on Sunday against the Saints, but he did throw his first interception of the season. But I've been pretty impressed with what he's done after kind of taking over for Aaron Rodgers.
I tell you what, that game was 17-0,
Sure was.
And they're at home and they're getting booed, and I thought that was the best performance of the weekend for that young man with not a lot of experience under his belt, and to start clawing and getting that team up and down the field. And they didn't have a run game either. And you got to think Christian Watson wasn't playing. He's playing with Romeo Doubs is their most experienced guy, I think. And if I'm wrong, the next guy up maybe has 1 more year's experience. So no experience in the wide receiving core. He's finding the game himself. I sat and watched that game. I was so excited to see Jordan Love do what he did because, this is what you want. You want great quarterback play because we know this is how the NFL works. But him to lead that team back and, and New Orleans had a shot. They could have, took it with the field goal. And at the moment, it looked, I was like, man, I wouldn't have done that. But Matt LaFleur, he goes for that 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And then that was a smart, at the time. And that eliminated them from trying to score, twice, I guess, after that. So a big play, big 2-point. And, that was a great ending for Jordan Love. And I think when you do that, I don't know if that's considered a come from behind win. I don't know if there's a time frame on, how much time has to be left in the game for that to count. But nonetheless, my MVP of the weekend, definitely Jordan Love for the Packers.
Oh, wow.
Putting that team 17. I mean, they're 17 down.
That's true.
And against a good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good Saints defense by Dennis Allen. And they passed the ball. I think he had 150 yards at one point. And he finished nearly with 300. And that's some point midway through the third quarter.
And it was gutsy to go for the 2. I was disagreeing with the math, but he made it work. Bo, in our last segment, we were talking about already. I know you are NFL Draft Bible. You and collegetopro.com. I know you are the draft. Really, your big thing. And we agreed in the last segment that next year's draft in Detroit could be the biggest ever. And that's saying something. It's almost like the halftime show. How do you top last year? They always seem to do it. How do you top the draft? They always seem to do it because of all these college quarterbacks. And I think you saw Drake May Saturday in person, didn't you?
I did. And, I tell you what, I joked around with everybody from the Pittsburgh media. I said, listen, I go, if I could cover a new team, I go, I mean, Brett, you guys are around the media. You talk to coaches, and you kind of know. Like sometimes you're not even allowed to look up until these guys speak. It's like such a strict standard of. But we go in the little huddle, and I'd be like, well, Drake May's here. A draft #1 pick, possibly. I got to grab him rather than go into the losing side for the Panthers. And we go in there, and there might have been like 6 media people in the little visitors media room. And they're all joking around.
The SEC does not do it that way, Bo.
Yeah. Matt Brown comes out, and one of the nicest individuals I've ever come across, especially as a head coach. I mean, I felt like I was with my grandfather or something. That's how nice he was. I mean, he was just endearing. I remember, and sometimes, in a media spawn, like, you might ask questions at the same time. I went to ask something somebody else asked. He took that question, and then somebody else went to speak. He goes, no, next. And he went back to me like,
wow.
But getting to Drake May, the left-handed pass was great, and I thought his creativity, and that's what I wrote about his toughness. I mean, he got nailed on a 52-yard pass he delivered, or a 40-yard pass, but he got creamed. Missed one play, came back in, did a quarterback sneak, and then you look at the Patrick Mahomes type play where he scrambled out to the left. Defender, had him. Nate Temple had him in his grasp. Somehow he got the ball into his left hand and just floated a duck over for the touchdown. So a lot to like about him. He did a lot of good things well. I thought his mechanics looked great, and he'll be in the mix. As when the piece I put out today, you had Mitchell Trubisky and Sam Howell. North Carolina's had 3 quarterbacks, and assuming something catastrophic doesn't happen to Drake May, he's going to be in the draft. He's going to be one of the top picks, even if not this year, then next year surely. So, the Tar Heels have a nice little developmental thing in terms of quarterbacks. And we can knock Trubisky for, how his career went. But nonetheless, he made it. And Sam Howell, he's got 4 starts under his belt. Yeah, and Sam Howell got 4 starts. But when you think of college football, every program in the nation, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, has produced, assuming Drake May's in this thing, 3 quarterbacks in the last 8 years that get drafted. That's pretty astonishing.
That is.
That is a great point. I think that it parallels with just south of North Carolina. In South Carolina at Clemson, it was impossible for them to go Taj Boyd, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, and the next guy, whether it's DJU or Klubnik. Gravity got Dabo at the quarterback position, didn't it?
It did, and you see it. And it's funny. It's weird that you think of college football now, and you before college football, you could kind of win without having a stud quarterback. You could kind of get through the emotions, but we've kind of seen it almost.
Can't hide it.
You can't hide it if you don't have it. Look at Alabama's struggles, and I like Milroe. I think he flashes some brilliance, but they're going to have headaches. They're going to have times where That's why Saban put the backups in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He wanted to see it. Do we have another option here? I do think he's the best option, but nonetheless, we see the schools. I can't think of his name from Penn State, but they haven't had a quarterback like him since Kerry Collins. So they're going to be in the, they're going to have an opportunity. And, when we talked about, Drake May, who knows how far North Carolina can go because there's so many other intangibles, but, they're 4-0. Florida State looks good in the AACC. Clemson, they're out. So it's a good quarterback class. And Brett, you mentioned it. Detroit's going to be popular because there's going to be so many quarterbacks, and there's so many quarterback needy teams. So last year, we saw the guys go. I know this is so outlandish to even say this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see 6 quarterbacks go in the first round next year, just because teams are so desperate. There's a lot of kids out there, and I know that's a crazy number.
I'd go north of it. Wow. I'd go north of it.
Yeah, and I said and we're early on. But there's a lot of good quarterbacks out there, and 2, there's a lot of bad teams in the National Football League that need these young college guys.
Yeah.
And remember, it was 15 or 20 years ago when Big Tuna, Bill Parcells, says, look, we can only play the quarterbacks that you provide us college football. Well, it is providing them now.
Yeah, it is. And we are very fortunate. I think the learning curve for all positions, we see the receivers, that used to be a 2-year hiatus for them to learn the game. Now you got Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I mean, you got these kids just coming in and just taken over the league, and that's just part of the college game, adapting these guys so quickly, and that's because they pass the ball so much more as well. So it's great, and college football, what a great weekend. A lot of great games, and then the follow it up, and even
and
Brett,
Sunday was great.
You always text me on Tuesday, hey, we're ready to go. 5 Central, 6 Eastern, and I forget when you sent that text, but just say it was around 12:30 maybe Eastern. I would have went on and talked to you guys from now till then because I was just so fired up to talk.
Well, we should have thrown you on the air. We could have.
Could have made this whole NFL show today. But I do want to get back to the NFL because I'm curious your thoughts about the Vikings. We talk about those 0-3 teams going into this week, and the Vikings are right there, but it really hasn't been. I mean, this offense has looked pretty good at times. Kirk Cousins, over 1,000 yards already, 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. You just mentioned Justin Jefferson. He hasn't had a game through 3 weeks where he's recorded less than 149 receiving yards, but they're playing in these close games, and they're just not able to find ways to win. What's the problem with the Vikings right now?
Well, last year, they had 8 or 9, 10 games last year that were decided, on the same circumstances. They were just beneficial in winning those games. That's why they finished, 13-4 or 14-3. So that benefited them. This year, that's not going their way. And they had another opportunity, and I don't know if you guys watched the end of that game with Brandon Staley and his fourth on the 24.
I watched.
Brett.
That's my Super Bowl team, remember? What was I thinking?
One win, though, now, Brett. Yeah. One win.
They won, but that was, you're really pushing the limit there. I think that kind of shows you where he's at. I still don't think he lasts out the year because I just think.
Does he have video of the owner?
Yeah. I didn't see that, but no. What'd he do?
No. I was joking. I was saying blackmail. Does he have some surreptitious video of the owner?
Keep his job.
I thought when they made the call that they showed the owner's box that he was shaking his head. Yeah,
he's got to have the biggest vote of confidence from owner, GM, head of marketing, the ticket reps, the suite sales. Everybody has to have signed on and go, you do whatever you want to do. Because this guy's out there just about to ruin his career.
No, he's that type of guy. His wife tells him, "Hey, you better be home by 9." And not only does he not come home, he comes home 2 days later and says, "I forgot the milk." This guy, he plays.
He goes to the wrong house.
Yeah, he plays by his own rules. And that particular play, under those circumstances, you could say, "Well, you walked out with the win," but I even think, watching the post game shows, Jimmy Johnson, you could just tell he was. I think he was just lost respect for him. And I think that says a lot when Jimmy Johnson kind of shakes his head and said, hey, it's great you did it, but, there's kind of a way to go about things, and, you could win in a lot of ways. And, probably 10 weeks from now, we won't remember this game if the Chargers are, turning around and they're 7-3 and they're playing great football. Then, we'll talk about how great Staley is. But I think those habits and his past practices kind of show you what's ahead for San Diego, for Los Angeles, and I just don't see it working with that mindset ahead.
Bo, he's the perfect example of, as I've kind of set up the premise before, of would you fly on a private airplane with him under the left seat, is him as pilot? Not only would I not fly with him in a private plane with him at the stick, I don't know that I want to get on a commercial flight and he's even riding on it.
I'm probably smart.
Yeah, that's a great
I'm
take.
afraid he'd knock over the drink cart.
Yeah. And the opposite, I'd get on a plane with Belichick if it had no engines. I'd be just like,
None.
Like,
if I got on the plane and Belichick said, I didn't even check the oil, I don't think any's in there, and I don't really know what I'm doing. You ready to take off? I said, pull the stick back.
Yeah, and you would feel you'd land and go, that was the most pleasant flight I've ever had.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, last thing for you, Bo. Watching the Eagles last night on Monday Night Football, they get the win. They're 3-0 now, but I just don't think we've seen the Eagles to their full potential yet through 3 weeks, and that kind of scares me, especially being in the NFC East with the Cowboys. That scares me that it seems like they haven't reached their full potential. Do you feel that same way, or do you think this is kind of the Eagles we're going to get this year?
No, I think they're better. A.J. Brown topped 2 touchdown passes. One went through his hands. The other one he should have had as well. So, those are just those weird nights. And it was a rainy game. I mean, the weather was coming down. It wasn't, it wasn't a great night to be throwing the ball. But, the defense is there. And we all know at the end of the day, you got to have a defense. And those guys look hungry, just like Dallas's defense. Their defense looks, I know they, had their hiccups against the Cardinals. But nonetheless, we know that Dallas defense is going to be ready to play. And the Philly defense, that front, they're ferocious. And then, Jalen Hurts and those guys, DeAndre Swift, that's his hometown. He's a Philly guy.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a guy reborn running the football there.
Does.
Everything that you saw in Georgia, he's duplicating that now at the National Football League level. So, I think they'll be there and excited to finally, what you would know this. When do those two teams play? How much time do they have to prepare for each other?
Bo, I haven't even wanted to look because it scares me. Let's see. Eagles, November 5th. So we still got about a month to get ready.
Oh, wow.
We got a while. And then again on December 10th. So we got some time.
Yeah, and I tell you what, though, Brian, Dak got to play better.
He
has to play better.
He does.
He has to.
Yeah.
Are there... because they're going to get in games like where they need it. And I think we all felt that way. You know what? Dak's going to bring the ball down, and they did, but they got inside the red zone, and they just shut down, and, then he makes the critical turnover. And that's, you never want to make one, but that's when it's forbidden. You can't do it, and he did it.
Bo, how many times were they in the red zone on Sunday and couldn't capitalize? I mean, it was all day.
Yeah, well, I told you. I know the second half 3 times. They went down, went for it on 4th. They went for a field goal on the next one, and then the next one he threw the INT. So at least, bare minimum, they walk away with 9 points.
Yeah.
Bare minimum 9 points. If you kick field goals all 3 times, and they got 3 out of 3 trips inside there. So.
Wow. Well, we got to stop talking about the Cowboys. I'm getting fired up. It's too late in the afternoon to get fired up, Bo. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week, hopefully after a Cowboys win.
Well, next week we'll talk about Caleb Williams possibly being the new quarterback in Dallas. So I don't know.
Hey, I'm on board. Sign me up. Why not?
Wow, you can't drop the mic like that on his boat.
Yeah, this is the guy he said was the best quarterback in the National Football League. Now he wants Caleb Williams.
Not only him, Trey Lance right behind him, Bo. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah,
Bo. You know how it is when fandom talks.
That's why it's the best. Hey, you guys have a great week and stay safe.
Thanks, Bo. We'll talk to you next week.
Great stuff. Bo Marchant with us every Tuesday to talk the National Football League. In this hour of our show brought to you every day by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean, on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Laura Hall and Charles Hall, what a team. What a great job they're doing. They've got this great store. Charles started working there in his teens, and now with Laura, they own the place that's known for all the boots you can imagine, all the great clothing, hats, belts, belt buckles, everything, Western wear, work boots, safety toe or soft toe. Look, if you're an employer and you've got to wear those safety toe type boots and you provide those for your employees, you'd like a great deal, they can work a deal for you. They often do that for construction sites, construction teams, things like that. Rubber boots for every occasion. At Hewlett Dunn, I know this weekend in the Grove and at Tiger Lane for those 2 games here locally, there'll be a lot of boots. From head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable. Dan Post, Anderson Bean, Ariat, whether for men or for women.
And it's not just the clothing. They've got the jeans, pants, shirts, shoes, and outerwear, but they also have the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street or to HewlettandDunn.com on the square in Collierville. And I said, it's not just the clothing. It's also the accessories that you got to get over to Hewlett and Dunn and get. The hats, sunglasses, boot care products, and every area team snapback and cool hats you can think of. For the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks, they've got you covered. And for travel, their bag selection is absolutely top notch. HewlettandDunn.com, but please visit and say hello at 111 Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779. It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us. 7.
12. What are we playing?
Central Barbecue has 7 different kinds of sandwiches.
Okay, does that seem like a lot?
Are you kidding? 7 may be the most perfect amount of sandwiches. See, they got the pulled pork. You can get chopped on request. Then trim sliced beef brisket sandwich. There's 2 right there.
I'm not sure exactly.
Look, you've also got the pulled chicken, the smoked turkey, the marinated portobello mushroom sandwich.
That seems like plenty.
You would think, but then you also got the smoked sausage and the barbecue bologna sandwich.
You're right. 7 may be the perfect amount of sandwiches.
The people at Central Barbecue are genius.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with 3rd row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months. Mirage RH 00782 MSRP 18315. Eclipse RZ 001693 MSRP 30445. Outlander RZ 005762 MSRP 31385. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're sitting in our family leisure studios. We got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We've talked a ton of football today between college football and the NFL, but we do need to talk some baseball as we're really hitting the home stretch for the regular season. A lot of these wild card races starting to come down to the wire. Divisions are being clinched. A lot is happening in baseball, but last night, Brett, I was already a little aggravated because, as you know, I came in yesterday with my Seattle Kraken sweater. I was very excited about their preseason game, only to go home and find out that not only could I not watch either of their split squad preseason games, but when I went to listen to one of them, I couldn't even listen to it because they decided they were going to dedicate that to a preseason preview show, which was fine to listen to. What? But I wanted to listen to the actual game, and I couldn't listen to it. So I was also watching the Seattle Mariners game. So I was already a little aggravated. But I sit there and watch Luis Castillo, who is supposed to be the ace, a guy that they just extended for 5 years, $108 million. I think very well deserved. I think he's a great pitcher. Give up 5 runs to the Astros in a game that they needed to win after being swept by the Rangers. And I see that offense that all season has been up and down. You pretty much know what to expect from this offense, and it's not much. And Brett, it makes me so mad to watch this Mariners team. Not that I'm a huge fan of the Mariners. I like watching them. They're not my favorite team by any means. They're not anywhere close to the Cardinals. We did.
To be in the playoffs.
But Brett, you know, I hear what people say in Seattle about this team, what some people in that, because I'm following the Kraken, I'm following the Mariners, and I hear Jerry DiPoto, one of their executives, come out and multiple times over the last 2 years talk about how they're going to spend with the best of them. They're going to, that this team's going to go out there and be on paper one of the most competitive teams out there. And then I look at these payrolls. The Blue Jays, who are currently ahead of the Mariners, $213 million payroll. The Astros, who are ahead of the Mariners right now, $236 million. The Rangers, who are also ahead of the Mariners, $247 million. The Mariners, $134 million for their payroll. I mean, if you want to be among the best, it's almost half, and there's a reason that those teams are ahead of you. And when I see Luis Castillo,
Tampa Bay's down there,
Tampa Bay's down there,
always are.
But they've built up that minor league system, Brett. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago and how good it was from top to bottom
in North Little Rock.
Absolutely, exactly. And so, I mean, it upsets me because
which may come as news to people in North Little Rock and Little Rock that the Mariners have a double A affiliate there.
It really might. But, you know, Brett, I'm just going to say it right now. Mariners aren't making the postseason. You know, good for the Rangers, good for the Astros, good for Toronto.
I'm afraid you're right.
Mariners aren't making the playoffs. They just can't. I haven't seen anything over the last 5 games.
And I want them in there.
I do too.
You know, they're the only team of the current 30 teams that's never appeared in a World Series.
Yeah. It's not happening this year.
They're not alone as teams that haven't ever won it, but they've never even made it. They're the last one to get there. Washington got there and won it in 2019. They were a long time team that was waiting for that. And last night it was official.
What's that?
My World Series, neither team's even going to make the playoffs. Well, Yankees eliminated
another team to be embarrassed by. I mean, the Yankees, just this season. I know you can say they've dealt with injuries. We still have yet to see their entire starting pitching rotation.
You're the Yankees.
It's ridiculous what they have put out there. And I mean, you talk about that loss last night.
Brett Boone make it next week?
There's no way.
Does he get?
There's absolutely no way.
He said he intended to be back.
I'm sure he does. I'm afraid it's not his decision.
Intended to win the Powerball last week.
That's right. So I'd be shocked.
He borrowed money against it. Can you believe it?
Well, I mean,
went to the bank, signed a note, said, "Hey, I'm gonna win the Powerball."
I'm winning.
That was really
They
dumb,
looked at
wasn't
you
it?
like you're a crazy man, but hey, you still went in there. You're a man with a plan.
No bank issues alone with.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna win the Powerball.
That's right.
So Cardinals, Yankees, my World Series, neither even gonna make the playoffs.
Jeez,
that's pitiful.
I say
San Diego to win the West is pitiful.
Well, yeah, that's
the Mets to win the East.
I was
pitiful.
about to say, I think I had the Mets winning. Let's see. Here's my picks. I had in the AL the Blue Jays. So I guess that could still happen. And
I had Blue Jays as a wild card.
In the NL, I had the Padres. So Padres and Mets playing in the NLCS. So
really,
yeah.
Tickets available.
Yeah, very much.
Stadiums available.
Let's see. Out of well, I guess my three of my top 4 seeds in the NL are nowhere close to making the playoffs. The Mets, Padres, and Cardinals. So. Yeah, that's why we make these picks way early and never look back on them, right?
And hope everybody forgets.
Exactly, but then we bring them up. Exactly.
And then we bring it up, and people go, "Yeah, you big dummies, you think you know it all." We don't. My AL Rookie of the Year, Gunnar Henderson, that's in play.
What a year for him.
Am I right? At date of birth 2002? Is that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's younger than me. Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
Let's see.
2002.
No, I'm sorry.
That was
2001, June 29th, 2001.
Okay, close enough.
Close enough, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Still younger than you.
Still younger than me. And Jackson Holliday, who's certainly gonna be on the opening day roster next year.
Next year.
Now he was born in 2003, so you're probably just getting those years confused. But yeah, no, they have a young team, and Brett, I mean, I've been super impressed with what they've done, and with Jackson Holliday, what he's done through the minors. If he's on that opening day roster next year, not only will they be a really, really good team, they're going to be a fun team to watch night in and night out.
Where do they play? What position?
That's a good question.
Could play corner outfield.
Could
play middle infield.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to play middle infield. But maybe you can put him at second or short and just kind of see what happens. But
you had something else go wrong last night for you.
For me,
the hook got you with the Eagles.
Oh,
I'm sorry, with the Bengals.
With the Bengals. Oh man, and I was just
3.5.
I was just sitting there when the Rams scored that touchdown. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! This is not happening." It happens.
That takes you for the year to 12-7 in the NFL. Really good picking there. You're 17-9 in college football. You're 29-16 overall. College football for me 11-15. NFL 6-13. Overall 17-28. Wow. I've had slow starts, but never like this.
Wow.
Never.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, in my baseball picks and the Chargers, golly.
Man. Well, the Chargers, good Lord, Brett.
Well, I need to pick the European team in the Ryder Cup, don't I?
Yeah, please. I mean,
at this rate.
That's almost a shoo-in for America to win, isn't it?
Tonight, some really good pitching matchups.
Yeah,
There's still
really
work for the Orioles to do. They're close to closing in on that magic number, and that should be a fun celebration. You didn't see a wild celebration by the Dodgers. You didn't see a wild celebration by the Braves, and I thought it was apropos of their expectations. When the Orioles wrap it up, new carpet in the clubhouse after that, because I mean it should just be an ocean of celebration.
And I don't think anybody has anything bad to say about it. I don't think there's anybody saying, "Oh, you act like you've been here before."
Act like you've been there.
I mean, they haven't. So yeah,
they haven't, and their own owner tried to destroy their franchise.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love what the Orioles have done this year. They're a young team. They're a hungry team. They're a fun team. And so, if they do clinch that division, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them kind of celebrate. And I hope they celebrate to no end.
Next week, so you think Boone's out?
I think so.
And we know Terry Francona is going to retire.
Yes.
I just wonder how many new managers on opening day next year?
Oh, I mean, what?
Over and under 4.5. Would you go over or under?
I'll probably go over slightly, but I think you could. But then when I start looking at the teams and kind of who is it, it's hard to kind of pick 5 teams. But
it is, because why do that to Mark Kotsay at Oakland?
Yeah.
Look. You could bring in a combination of Tony La Russa and Whitey Herzog, and you're not going to win.
I was about to say, who are you going to bring in at that job?
Kansas City made the move last year. White Sox made the move last year. Yep. Angels, Nevin could be very similar to Oliver Marmol.
Yeah.
Don't get off to a 10-20 start. Next year. Boston's not doing anything. We mentioned the Yankees. None of the teams kind of in contention, I think, would do anything.
No.
National League, maybe Bud Black at kind of the end in Colorado. So that'd be 3.
Yeah.
Cardinals doing nothing. Martinez is safe.
Yeah, Martinez is very safe.
Buck step away. Buck Showalter, see you when I see you. Back to the broadcasting. He was just really great at it.
He was. I just don't know. I think he's dug himself in there so much that if he walks away, it would to him feel like he's losing and giving up. And
yet again,
yeah.
it didn't like that again for him.
And I just don't know if he's willing to give into that.
Yeah.
But
who were we talking about earlier? Sean Payton.
Yeah.
You think he misses that cushy Sunday morning on Fox?
Some of the things you hear from him through these 3 weeks are incredible to hear a coach say. Saying that they're going Russell Wilson, who is a veteran quarterback, they might have to make him start wearing a play card on his wrist and dumb down the offensive calls because he's too slow getting them out. He can't pick them up. The offense can't pick up these plays.
Imagine that you know what chewing's behind the scene he's had to give him.
Yeah, and I don't think like I said with Bo, I don't think anybody expected Sean Payton to come in year 1, Denver go to the Super Bowl. But I don't think anybody expected it to start like this.
Yeah.
It's rough.
That network job for Buck Showalter and for Sean Payton, cushy,
very
fun,
cushy,
easy, green room's great, spread's great. It's not near enough of the action for him.
Exactly. We say this about every coach in every single sport. They all talk about retirement and all this stuff, but once they get there, they gotta have that.
They don't want to be around their family.
No, they've got to have that sport, and a lot of them come running back. And for a lot of them, it's been their life for 50, 60 years, and
all they know.
Exactly, and without it, they just feel completely lost. So I don't blame them for it, but I think you're right.
Very, 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 very minute, small degree.
Right.
I don't make it about me. I know where they're coming from, man.
Sure.
I gotta have it.
Oh, absolutely. I think we all do.
Even Saturday night, driving back disappointed, mad as heck. Woke up Sunday morning, beat LSU.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
Absolutely. So it's hard to step away from these things, and so I think I understand why they come running back, but at the end of the day, sometimes you might want to just stick with calling the games instead of getting back into the action. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at DriveMax. 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 You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax. I got approved.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Baby, here I am. I'm a man on the scene. Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, we talked earlier about Michael Penix Jr. and the season he's having at Washington. I talked about how I had seen some sort of stat that he's thrown a lot of deep balls this year. Well, I have the exact number on deep passes, which are 20 yards or more. Michael Penix has thrown 24.6 of his total passes 20 yards or further, which is just absolutely remarkable to think that a player that is recording this many yards and having this much success early in the season is throwing almost a quarter of his passes more than 20 yards down the field is really impressive. We talk about how pretty that deep ball is. He is an incredibly impressive player to watch. If you haven't checked him out. I know very late at night most of his games, but I'm telling you, he is definitely prime time. Get on the couch and get around the television to watch him play. He is electric.
We were just talking about the Orioles, and I'm just now seeing the news, and I'm going to get to the Oriole. Oh, they're showing it now. The number 5 there at Camden Yards just learned of the passing of the great Brooks Robinson.
You're kidding.
Little Rock, Arkansas's very own, 86 years old. Brooks Robinson passes away, MVP of the 1970 World Series. Just seeing that now. Wow. He was known as the human vacuum cleaner. 16 gold gloves. And one of the great hit behind the runner guys of all time, and really along with Cal Ripken, Mr. Oriole, and Eddie Murray, Mr. Oriole of all time. And I've got it over on the Orioles game now, and I promise you, growing up, my American League team was the Orioles because of Brooks Robinson from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Wow, that's so sad. I hadn't heard that, but wow, that is really, really sad to hear. What I could have done without, I've seen a lot of it on social media. I do not know the reasons. I don't think it's been reported the reason, but it looks like Michael Trigg is no longer with the Ole Miss football team. I've seen it reported by the Rebel Walk, Evie Van Pelt, who we talk to a lot. Brett, I can confirm, so breaking news, but Michael Trigg is not with the team anymore. And why I make it what I could have done without it is because even though I am not an Ole Miss fan, just kind of looking at him coming to Ole Miss, what he was supposed to be being recruited to USC before he even got to USC, just the promise there, this guy could be a big-time threat at tight end, just never lived up to that, and so really sad that he could never reach that potential, and it sounds like maybe a bad ending between him and Ole Miss, no longer with the team in the middle of the season.
Yeah, maybe he will somewhere else, and we've seen players bounce around just wildly talented, and the real hope this year was kind of pre-scoring as inline blocker and also out in pass patterns. But Trigg is a matchup issue in the slot for a player. Maybe he would do well somewhere else, and maybe with his NIL money he can buy a watch and learn to be somewhere on time.
Ooh.
Could have done without. Wow. Good luck to Mark Stoops this week against the Florida Gators. Because when you mention this in Kentucky, you know it's been a long time. If he beats the Florida this week, it'll be the first Kentucky coach to win 3 years in a row against the Gators since Bear Bryant did it in 4 years. But Bear did it 4 years in a row when he was coach at Kentucky, 48, 49, 50, and 51. And it'll be the first time to win in back-to-back games in Lexington since 74 and 76.
Wow. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Astros at Seattle. Astros up 1 in the all-important loss column over Seattle for that final AL wildcard spot. Tonight, Christian Javier 9-4 versus George Kirby 11-10. A matchup of old number 53 against old number 68 tonight.
Well, Brett, I don't know why you want to beam there. I can already tell you what's going to happen. The Astros are going to win. They're going to win big. It's not going to be a game. It's going to be another disappointing night in Seattle. I think I'm going to beam to maybe one of the most uninteresting games of the night, the Dodgers versus the Rockies. This was part of a doubleheader. The Rockies won the first game earlier today, but Bobby Miller on the mound for the Dodgers. This is a young guy, 10-4, 3.87 ERA on the season, a guy that could be a big part of that playoff rotation. I'm very curious to see what he can do tonight against the Rockies.
Yankees at Blue Jays. Blue Jays 2 up in the loss column. Rangers' magic number to win the West is 4 over Houston and 3 over Seattle. Rangers and Angels will be good, and the Bruce Bochy effect has been real.
Yeah, it really has been. You were on that before the season even started, but that's all the time we have today. Should be a fun night of baseball, a lot of interesting games, but enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
At Sissy's Log Cabin, you'll find only spectacular natural diamonds that will remain treasured for generations. That promise is now symbolized by the engraved Sissy signature and sapphire, representing our guarantee of extraordinary